Nobody can compete with God.
Because we're going to turn it around and we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much. You may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
Good evening and welcome to Blacklist Night on the news. Presidential very bad entry into I had a stroke. I can't talk. Welcome. It is debate night. Finally, it is here. Matt Costin, get in here. What are you doing? Who knew that Joe Biden, that they'd take him off of his oxygen machine for long enough to stand there. He requested a chair, by the way, because he doesn't want to stand for 90 minutes. He also requested 2 30-minute breaks for a 90-minute debate. So much like this fellow here, it looks like Joe Biden would rather be sleeping. I don't know who that is and why he's asleep with a mask on. But that's the state of the affairs. We have two... How old are these people? In their 70s. 78. Joe Biden is 78, I believe. Weighing in at a scrappy 121 pounds versus lean. No, not lean. Chubby? No, I don't want to go that way. Versus Donald J. Trump, El Presidente, weighing in at a mean 250 pounds, all muscle and brain. Come in, bye, have fun. Hey, you have the card? Coming in hot and heavy. He's got the reach. He's got the strength behind him. Can he take down this lazy old 78-year-old, very nearly an octogenarian? And he would be if he won the presidency. He'd be an octogenarian in the second year of his presidency. Never gonna happen. Let's get ready to rumble. Yeah. I don't know what's going on over here. I've got it. That's as loud as it gets. And they're not, I guess they have it all muted. Actually, all the cards should work. Here's Wells Fargo. Yep. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Costin, get your butt in here so we can hang out and have some fun stuff to talk about. I may even be doing some work on the secret project. For those of you who don't know, I'm working on a secret project, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. But we do have a date for launch. November 1st is going to be the launch date for the secret project. We are ready to change the world. The ladies and gentlemen, changing the world. Look at it. It looks like a gathering of like the Cobra High Command. Like, everyone wear your Cobra masks. So is this taking place in a state where they're not allowed to take off their ridiculous, worthless masks? Look how white my teeth are getting. I'm using that charcoal Tom's Natural Charcoal toothpaste. Look at that. It's almost as white as my eyes. Charcoal. Who knew? Why isn't that guy wearing a mask? Who's not wearing a mask? Get him! Get that guy! I wonder what this is. They just have it muted. I'm just going to leave the volume up a little bit so that when it starts, I really hope I don't come in here and this doesn't have any noise. I don't understand why all those people are there. It says fuzzy creature. I don't know. I noticed that Matt Costin is ignoring me, telling him to get in here. That's the camera clipping. What's the camera clipping? What are you talking about? What? Masks are required to restream this debate. Uh-oh. Quick, somebody go get me a mask. I'll just use my mouse pad. Do you feel like you're in charge? All right. He's an elite. He doesn't need to wear it. The elites have the vaccines, don't you know? This episode brought to you by QAnon. Biden is going to try and stay away from policies, while Trump should keep it on policies because the GOP wins on policy. Look, Biden, at least the way that he's been promoted to the right, by collecting every gaffe and goof and senior moment that he's had on his illustrious campaign tour. He pretty much just has to speak in coherent sentences for him to win over the expectations, since the bar has been set so low that you'd have to be a hobbit to get under it. So get your ninja mask. Where's my ninja? Where's the ninja mask? I can put on the full bodysuit, the green suit. No. Gotta figure out logistics first. Your teeth aren't white. The camera is clipping that color as white. Oh, gotcha, Andrew.
I'll just knock you back into the boxes now.
I mean, they're not white, like, like this.
Good evening,
But they're
ladies and
very
gentlemen.
light.
If
Oh,
I could
here we
ask
go, here we
everyone
go.
to take their seat, please.
Please take your seats, she says. Take your seats, everybody. Hello. Where's my mask? Wow. Grandma. She doesn't seem very happy to be there. She must be on the Biden campaign.
My name is Janet Brown. I'm Executive Director of the Commission on Presidential Debates, and I'd like to welcome you to the first presidential debate of 2020. There are a lot of people who have made extraordinary contributions to making this evening
Extraordinary.
possible. And in a
She's
few
an
moments,
extraordinary.
we'll hear from two
Where's
of
she
our
from?
co-chairs to start the appreciation to those who have helped. Our third co-chair, Dot Ridings, is in Louisville.
I don't think we need running commentary, or we don't need to listen to all of the thank yous. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the electricity.
Beneficiary of 33 years worth of people who
Thanking everybody from the presidency of the League of Women Voters. Blah 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 blah. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and mute this woman. Do you think Biden will lose his temper and go corn pop? I think you're lagging by like an hour. What? I'm not lagging. Boston. This one from Boston? Yeah. Thanks. We's from Boston. All right. Let's see what's going on in the general chat. Enjoy. I don't care either what either say. How can you not care what either say? You're watching 3 streams at once? Is there one that's further ahead? Because it's supposed to start in 15 minutes. It's supposed to start at 9 o'clock Eastern. And which I know it's way past Joe Biden's bedtime, 9 o'clock Eastern. But you know, whatever. Never gonna get it. All right, Kevin is sharing out this stream on Twitter. That's nice. All right, let's see. Cruz number 1, Mike number 2. Oh, Cruz, Ted Cruz. Does Ted Cruz have his own? He's streaming it too. So is anybody watching over on the Crowder streams? He talks over it so much. I mean, I know you have to talk over it some in order to stream it, but at that point, you're not watching the debate, right? So if my channel gets taken down or if the show gets taken down for copyright, whatever, I'll deal with that. We can jump over to the Discord and watch the rest of it. But I want to hear what they're saying. So I'm going to do some commentary, but I don't want to do so much commentary that you can't hear what they're saying, right? Because it defeats the entire point. I want to hear what these guys are saying. You know what? Want me to change this background? Hold on a second. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Oh. Here. Do 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 do. I'm putting some new GIFs for backgrounds. Except I didn't like this one because it says make a GIF in the corner, and that just kind of looks a little tacky. Looks a little tacky, looks a little tacky. Oh, the Blaze is streaming it. Crowder looks like he has no pants on. All right. Then everybody gets taken down. So many people are restreaming this. Oh, I'm so glad that I can be your #1 debate stream, Timothy. Thank you for being here. Tonight on Blacklist News. Blacklist News. All the news that's true to view for you. That's what I do. Bippity boppity boo. Yes, Crowder is also live streaming. So everybody but he doesn't have chat on, right? Crowder doesn't do chat, does he? You know, Joe is just going to be repeating whatever his earpiece squawks. Would be a shame if someone hacked it. That would be terrible. That would be terrible. Hi, my name's Joe, and I'm my own wife. He's going to come out there, and hi, my name's Joe Biden, and I am my own grandpa. I am my own grandpa. I am my own grandpa. It sounds funny, I know, but it really is so. I am my own grandpa. Of course, if he knew all the lyrics to that song, I'd think he was actually mentally acute. Is Crowder wearing his flag bikini bottoms? No Crowder chat. Well, that makes this the more fun stream because, yeah, Crowder may be funny and, be witty and be young and better looking than me. Where was I going with this? Oh, but at least you have your voice here. You are part of this show. You can type into the little chat box, and sometimes I'll say what you have to say. Right through go see. He's in a boxing outfit talking to Ted Cruz. Kind of want to see what Crowder's doing. Never gonna get it. Do, 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 do. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Stephen Crowder, owner of Clownfish. Daily Wire's probably streaming it, right? I assume. Yeah. Oh, they're doing a Daily Wire backstage. Stefan Crowder. Stefan Crowder.
A little extra zing on the show. More in the Amazon bookstore. Physical crowd.
And yes. All right. And Fox News. Should they be watching this on Fox News? What do you think, guys? Do you want me to put it on Fox News or on... I have it on Yahoo Finance right now. I don't think it really makes much difference. It's going to be the same stuff. You can't Lone Star Frog Sushi, unicorns, and Bitcoin on Crowder. That's right. That's right. And don't forget my my pinned link there up at the top. That's fancy. I can pin things on there. Hey, let's go see if I'm on BitChute right now. BitChute. Because I should be mirroring this on BitChute. Profile. Underdog Mike. Okay, what's the deal here? I set this up to mirror on BitChute. That does not mean I don't know how BitChute works. Someone's gonna have to explain this stuff to me. Fox is more likely to get struck. Oh, here, let me give a. Here we go. Let me change my background there a little bit. You guys just want to see that here. That's my new GIF background. It's cool. I like it a lot. Will Trump ask Biden, "Have you been tested for dementia?" Yes, he will. I hope he will. Taking a shot whenever Biden says "listen" or "come on, man," dude, you're not gonna make it through the first 15 minutes. You're gonna be face first, flat on the floor, floundering like a flagellating fish. On behalf of what clinic? Cleveland Clinic. All right, these fine people. She forgot that it's no longer 1964, and the Jackie O look has been out for quite a while, but that's okay. Pink and black, still a good look. Whatever fashion you decide to go with. It's that Nigel movie guy. Hello, Nigel. How are you, mate? Oh, she turned. Oh, I have this muted, so you can't even hear it anyways, but they turned their volume up. I'm like, what? And Trump will ask Biden if he has been tested for STDs recently. Trump will ask Biden, or Biden will ask Trump? Did you hear about the Russian collusion news involving Hillary earlier today? I heard a little bit about it from one of Trump's campaigns. I think Trump did a campaign today, and then he's doing this. Is that right, or am I wrong? Am I right? Or am I wrong? Am I right, or am I wrong? I don't know. Is wonder Trump could just play Age of Empires 2 versus Biden to decide the presidency. Look at all those white people. Not far. Yeah, where is this happening anyways? Where is this taking place? You know what? I can do a green screen, and I can make that GIF my background for the green screen. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Hey, I wonder if I did that, then this would just look like a floating box in front of me. You know what? I'm gonna download that brand. Where's my green screens? Green screens. Can you do GIFs for green screens? That's a good question.
Thank you, Tom.
Let me see.
Case Western Reserve is honored to
You cannot. Green screens can only be.
Delighted to show you this spectacular space
Darn it.
created together.
Only be
Research
JPEGs and stuff.
that team-based healthcare leads to better outcomes for patients.
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Buildings.
Evening, Eric Hawkins. Thanks for popping on in to watch the Battle of the.
Students from the same profession, doctors with doctors, nurses with nurses, and so on. They are suddenly expected to know how to work in teams once they get their diplomas.
I don't know. This is my Super Bowl, man.
Be a better way.
These are my Super Bowls. We do the debates, we do the elections. This is the stuff that gets my juices flowing. I'm not a sports guy. I'm not a big sports guy. I don't want to hear nothing from Mama Gray Hair over here. No offense, Mama Gray Hair, but bring on the main event or knock it off. Knock it off. We got 4 minutes till supposedly the main event begins, but Who knows? Cleveland, Ohio. Oh. Interesting. Interesting. Battle of the geriatrics. Battle of the geriatrics. I wouldn't call Trump a geriatric, though. They're septuagenarians. It's the Battle of the Septuagenarians here on Blacklist News Broadcasting Company. Blacklist News, BNBC? No, Blacklist News Streaming Service, BNSS. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, there we go. We got some Trump women rolling up in here. All the Trump women rolling up in here. Yeah, we all walked in together a foot apart, but let's all sit 6 feet away from each other. You need to clip from that old cartoon called Smokey Joe where the fire truck says to the horse, "You are all through, Joe." What do you think about that, Matt? Oh, it's Chris Wallace.
All right.
He's not even mic'd up. What the heck? I don't have him muted. He's literally muted on this channel. I think.
Are you sure?
Maybe it's because he's with Fox News and Fox doesn't give their feed to anybody else. That's interesting. BET, Blacklist Entertainment Television. Thank you. I like that. How's it going, Matt?
Good. Glad to be here at this exciting, momentous event.
Historic.
I didn't think it was going to happen, really.
I didn't either. I thought he'd try to pull out at the last possible second. I do not trust Wallace's updog. He is a shadow. He's a mere shadow of his father.
For sure.
Mike Wallace was a true newsman. Chris got the job through nepotism.
Wait, is it really muted?
It is.
What the heck?
Yeah, here, let me go to
C-SPAN?
Here's Fox News.
I was on C-SPAN. It's still muted. I think
It's muted on Fox News too.
Yeah, it's muted on C-SPAN.
All right, here he's not mic'd up.
Or maybe they're muting anybody who's live streaming.
Trump ladies. Hey, Trump ladies. Oh, you can see the Trump ladies on Fox, but not on... Oh, there it is. All the Trump ladies. All the Trump ladies. Why are they sitting so far apart? It's so dumb. No sound on ABC either. So the thing is that Mike Wallace is coming out there and he's not mic'd up or his mic is turned off and he's just talking to the audience.
Yeah, you're right. It's totally muted.
Yep, everywhere.
What the?
Cheyenne says, "Rip Ron Williams."
I can hear clapping.
A little late, but yeah, condolences to Robin Williams' family. From how many years ago was that? I was just watching some videos with Robin Williams in them last night. That's kind of ironic.
Huh.
This is the pre-show talk. This is the pre-talk show. All right, he came in and he said, "Thank you all for sitting 4 feet apart."
I heard clapping.
Look at her coming in a suit. And ain't nobody complaining. She wears a suit a lot better than Hillary Clinton, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
That much right now.
Surprising, huh?
Yeah.
I think
I want to see
George-
Ivanka.
Bill Clinton wears it better than her.
Yeah.
George Clinton too. Dang, this is weird.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
thought it was
funny.
maybe just because you're live streaming, but it's everything's just muted. I heard clapping though on the.
Yeah. So somebody's mic was picking it up.
So weird. Okay, this is gonna be a weird one tonight. Maybe it's like Joe Biden's secret like earpiece interfering with the sound.
Nah.
He's gonna pick up like truck driving signals.
I'm gonna
Breaker 19.
message Elliot and see if he'd want to come on.
Breaker 19. 300 pounds falling in love. No, this is, I don't know. Part of me kind of I don't like Biden. I don't feel bad for him. Part of me almost feels bad for him. Almost. But I know what they want to have that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he's suffering from dementia, which I believe he is. But this is what they're doing. They want the breaks in between so they can pump him with like give him some type of injection to get him like
he wanted 30. It's a 90-minute debate. He wanted 2 30-minute breaks. That's
maybe that's the Android version of it. Biden can only pass at 30 minutes at a time.
his battery pack
Yeah.
only lasts 30 minutes. We have to roll him off the stage after 30 minutes, please. Thank you.
Yeah. We're gonna see
Nobody can compete with God.
That's right. Yeah, I'll be right back.
All right.
Wait, I gotta grab some.
Here's Donald Trump. Oh wow, it's Donald Trump and Donald Duck. It's Donald hugging the
Glad to be a citizen of the United States of America.
Donald Trump. Oh, who is this?
What up?
It's the Middletowski family coming in to watch some politicking, debating. Hey guys,
What's going on?
did you catch the Donald Trump duck? Donald Duck?
No.
Oh, over there. Hey. Oh, you didn't hear?
Am I glad to be a citizen of the United States of America?
That was it? I didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear it?
No.
Oh, he said, am I glad to be a citizen of the United States of America?
Nice.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
There we go. All right, here, it should be rolling. All right. Everybody knows who Chris Wallace is, so I'm going to keep him muted until we actually get to something worthy of listening to.
Ramsey's number one, he knows the secrets of desire.
15-minute segments with 2-minute answers from each candidate to the first question, then open
Just laying down all the boring rules.
Both campaigns have agreed to these rules. For the record, I decided the topics and the questions in each topic. I can assure you, none of the questions has been shared with the commission or the two candidates.
Wallace is a never Trumper, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's a never Trumper. Echo. You're getting echo? Wait, how are you getting an echo? Is anybody else getting an echo? I don't even have the audio on yet.
Promise to remain silent. No cheers, no boos, or other interruptions. So we, more importantly, you, can focus on what the candidates have to say. No noise except right now.
Yeah, I heard he got the. I heard Biden got the questions in advance. Hey, no cheers or applause, they said. No cheers or applause. Come on, come on. What are you guys doing?
How you doing, man? I'm well.
How you doing, man?
Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night, so let's get going. Our first subject is the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
President Trump, you nominated Amy Coney Barrett over the weekend to succeed the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the court. you say the Constitution is clear about your obligation and the Senate's
That
to
is correct.
consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam.
By the way,
through
that's
an appointment
absolutely
and
historically
what you
accurate.
call an
What has it
abuse of
happened
power.
like
My first
5, 6,
question
7
to both
times
of you
in history
tonight,
where
why are
they've
you
had to
right
put a
with the
Supreme Court
argument you
justice
make
on
and your
during the
opponent
last year of
wrong?
a
And where
or
do you
during an
think
election year?
a Justice Barrett would take the court?
Last time
President
around, it
Trump, in
didn't
the
happen
first
because the
segment, you
Senate
go
was in the
first.
power
2
of the other
minutes.
party.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences.
That's right.
We have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all, top academic, good in every way, good in every way. In fact, some of her biggest endorsers are very liberal people from Notre Dame and other places. So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time, even if we did it after the election itself. I have a lot of time after the election, as you know. So I think that she will be outstanding. She's going to be as good as anybody that has served on that court. We really feel that. We have a professor at Notre Dame, highly respected by all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school. And we won the election, and therefore we have the right to choose her. And very few people knowingly would say otherwise. And by the way, the Democrats, they wouldn't even think about not doing it. If they had, the only difference is they try and do it faster. There's no way they would give it up.
Other streams
They
are
had
blurring
Greg
the
Garland, but the
vid.
problem is they didn't have the election, so they were stopped.
How about
And
if
probably
occasionally
that
I
would
just
happen in reverse also definitely would happen in reverse. So we won the election, and we have the right to do it, Chris.
President
that is
Trump, thank you.
absolutely correct. He
Same
does.
question to you, Vice President Biden. You
Can I get a
have 2
sound
minutes.
check? Can I get a mic check?
First
Tell
of
me
all,
if this is
thank
too
you for
loud or if
doing
it's
this.
too quiet
Looking forward to
or
this, Mr. President.
Thank you,
I,
if the audio is not
the
coming
American
through all right.
people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is.
They
And
did.
that say occurs when they vote for a United States senators and when they vote for the President of the United States.
They did.
They're not going to get a chance now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started. Tens
Yeah,
of
it's a
thousands of people have
4-year
already voted.
term.
And so the thing that should happen is we should wait. We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is, because that's the only way the American people get to express their view is by who they elect as president and who they
All
elect
right.
as
Thank
vice
you, Ray
president.
Thulu.
Now, what's at stake here is the president's made it clear he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care
Video
Act.
is a little louder
He's been
than your
running
mic.
on
All right,
that.
let me turn it
He
down a
ran
little
on
bit
that,
then.
And he's been governing on that. He's in the Supreme Court right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which will strip 20 million people from having insurance, health insurance now, if it goes into court. And the justice and I
need a
I'm not
buzzer.
opposed to the justice. She seems like a very fine person, but she's written before she went on the bench, which is her right, that she thinks that the Affordable Care Act is not constitutional. The other thing that's on the court, and if it's struck down, what happens? Women's rights are fundamentally changed. Once again,
Now it's women's
a
rights.
woman could be held
What?
to pay more money because she has a pre-existing condition of pregnancy. We're able to charge a woman more for the same exact procedure a man did.
Thanks,
And
Bianca.
that ended
You're a peach.
when
Bianca,
women
you want the
passed
link?
Affordable Care Act. And there's 100 million people who have pre-existing conditions, and they'll be taken away as well. Those pre-existing conditions, the insurance companies are going to love this. And so it's just not appropriate to do this before this election. If he wins the election and the Senate is Democrat or Republican, then he goes forward. If not, we should wait until February. All right.
There aren't 100 million people with pre-existing conditions. As far as the say is concerned, the people already had their say. Okay, Justice Ginsburg said very powerfully, very strongly, at some point, 10 years ago or so, she said a president and the Senate is elected for a period of time, but a president's elected for 4 years. We're not elected for 3 years. I'm not elected for 3 years. So we have the Senate, we have a president.
He's elected to the next
During
election.
that period of time, we have an opening. I'm not elected for 3 years. I'm elected for 4 years.
The
And the
election's
100
already
million
started.
people, Joe, the 100 million people is totally wrong. I don't know where you got that number. The bigger problem that you have
Pulled it out of
is
his.
that you're going to extend 180 million people with their private health care that they're very
That's
happy
simply
with.
not true.
Well, you're certainly
knows
going
that.
to socialist.
Go
You're
ahead.
going to socialist
This is,
medicine.
we're now into, gentlemen, we're now into open discussion.
Open discussion.
Open discussion. Yes, I agree. Go ahead, Vice President.
Number
Yes,
one,
that's correct, Ray Thulu.
he-
1/3 of
he
the
knows
country
that.
has
What
pre-existing
I
conditions.
What I proposed is that we expand Obamacare and we increase it. We do not wipe any. And one of the big debates we had with 23 of my colleagues trying to win the nomination that I won, were saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance still. They can. They do. They will under my proposal.
Not what you've said,
But
and it's not what
that
your
is-
party
If
has
you
said.
like
is
your
simply
doctor,
a
Party
lie.
you
hasn't
can keep
said
your
that.
doctor.
Party
That is
wants to
simple.
go socialist
My
medicine
party is
and
me.
socialist
Right
healthcare.
now, I am
And
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
The Democratic Party right now. The platform of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is what I in fact, approved of. What I approved of. Now, here's the deal. The deal is that it's going to wipe out pre-existing. And by the way, the 200,000 people that have died on his watch, how many of those have survived? Well, there's 7 million
They're all
people
dead. The ones that
contracted
died
COVID.
didn't survive.
What does it mean going forward if you strike down the Affordable Care Act? And
Joe, you've had
pre-existing-
308,000 military people dying because you couldn't provide them proper health care in the military. So don't tell me
I'm
about
happy
this.
to talk about
And if
this.
you were here,
Look,
it
here's
wouldn't
the
be
deal.
200, it would be 2 million people because
Yep.
you were very late on the draw. You
That's
didn't
right.
want to go to China, which was heavily infected. You didn't want me to ban.
All right. We're,
Italy?
gentlemen,
Which
no,
was heavily
Mr. President.
You would have
Mr.
been much
President,
later, Joe.
Mr.
Much
President,
later.
Mr.
You're
President,
talking about 2 million people.
You're
Mr.
not gonna be able
President,
to
as
shut
a
him up.
moderator, we were going to talk about COVID in the next segment, but go ahead.
Let me finish.
Nobody
The point
nobody
is
can
that
compete
President
with God.
also
With
is
God.
opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's on the ballot as well in the court. And so that's also at stake right now.
That's right, baby.
It's all
You don't
right
know
now.
it's
That's
on the
correct.
Why is it in the ballot?
Because
Yeah, it's not really. It's already at stake after he nominates.
I don't think so.
in the court. Well,
There's nothing happening there.
Donald,
You don't know her view on Roe v. Wade.
I
You
don't
her
know.
view.
Well, all right. Let's talk. We got a lot to
Biden frozen time. You see that? He was just like,
on health care, and then we'll come back to Roe v. Wade.
all right.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court will hear a case a week after.
Why
the
isn't
election
Biden on
in
Obamacare
which
is
the
what I
Trump
want to know.
administration, along with 18 state attorneys general, are seeking to overturn
That's right.
Obamacare, to end Obamacare. You have spent the last
Because they
If-
want to
if
give
I-
good
if I-
health care.
If I may ask
Go
my
ahead.
question, sir.
Good healthcare.
Over the last 4 years, you have promised to repeal and replace Obamacare, but you have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan
Yes,
to
I have.
replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Well, I'll
I
give
got
you an
rid of the
opportunity. And when I
individual
finish, I'm going to
mandate.
give you an
Excuse me,
opportunity.
I got
When
rid of the individual mandate, which was a
That is
big
not a
chunk of
comprehensive
That
plan.
is absolutely a big thing. That was the worst
I
part of
didn't ask,
Obamacare.
sir.
Chris,
You're
that was the
debating him,
worst
not
part of
me. Let me
Obamacare.
ask my question.
Well, I'll ask Joe. The
no,
individual
I-
mandate was the most unpopular
Vice
aspect of
Take
Obamacare.
control,
I got rid of
Trump.
I'd like you
that's
to,
right, baby.
President, I'm the moderator of this debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer.
Go ahead.
You, in the course of
Chris's
these 4
voice
years,
is
have never
shaking.
come up with a comprehensive plan,
He's the soy moderator.
Obamacare, and just this last Thursday, you signed a largely symbolic executive order to protect people with pre-existing conditions 5 days before this debate. So my question, sir, is what is the Trump healthcare plan?
Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'll tell you something. That there's nothing symbolic. I'm
Yeah,
cutting
Wallace's
drug
voice
prices.
was
I'm going with
shaking.
favored
That's
nations, which
hilarious.
no president has the courage to do because you're going against big pharma. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You could have done it during your 47-year period in government. You didn't do it. Nobody did it. So we're cutting health care.
5 decades in government.
We've done
He has not
insulin.
cut
I give you an example. Insulin. It was destroying families, destroying people because I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water.
I am the Senate.
Cheap. Take a look at all of the drugs.
I am
and
the
what we're doing,
Senocratic
prescription
Party.
drug prices. We're gonna allow governors now to go to other countries to buy drugs because
When in
they
fact,
pay just a tiny
If I
fraction.
say
of
this
what
is
we do.
open discussion,
No,
let me
but
ask
this
you
is
about,
big-
you'll
this
be
is big
happy,
stuff.
sir, you'll be happy. I'm about to pick up on one of your points to ask the vice president, which
Oh,
is
you'll be happy. He knows how to read minds too. Then
that
Wallace.
a public option to Obamacare, and
Yes.
the argument that he makes and other Republicans make is that that is going to end private insurance.
It is
and
not.
will. If I can ask you the question, it will end.
By the way.
It will end private insurance and create a government takeover of healthcare.
It does not. It's only for those people who are so poor they qualify for Medicaid. They can get that free in most states, except governors who want to deny people who are poor Medicaid. Anyone who qualifies for Medicare would, Medicaid would automatically be enrolled in the public option. The vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option. Number one.
Joe, you
Number
agreed
two.
with Bernie Sanders, who's far left, on the manifesto,
With
we
you-
call it.
with
And that gives
manifesto-
you socialized medicine.
Look, hey,
Are you
the fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by
I'm-
much.
He beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by
Well,
much.
I'm here standing facing you, old buddy.
Pocahontas would have left
Uh,
2 days ago. You would have lost every.
All he knows how to do is,
You got
look,
very
here's
lucky.
the deal. I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well. And tonight I'm going to
With
make
what?
sure, because
With what?
here's the deal. Here's the deal. The fact
Oh
is
my
that
gosh! If
everything he
here's the
says-
deals on
Here's
the
the
drinking
deal.
game, people are
That's
going to
one of them.
lotto. Yep.
Everybody knows he's a liar.
I should keep a list here
Bill,
of
you're
what
the
he's going to say.
I want to make sure,
graduated last year's last
I-
week, first in the
I-
House.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish?
He doesn't know how to do that. He has,
You'd be
you know,
surprised.
you pick
You'd be surprised.
the
Go ahead,
wrong
Joe.
guy, the wrong night at the wrong time.
Listen, you agree.
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders said the
Here's the deal. He said it again.
There is no manifesto.
Look,
Number
man.
one. Number two.
You just
Look,
lost
man,
the
here's
left.
the deal.
Number two.
You just lost the left. You agreed with Bernie Sanders on a plan.
He's confusing him on purpose. See,
Yeah.
They
Folks,
agreed
do you
to,
have any
and under that
idea
plan,
what
you have
this clown's
socialized,
doing?
They call it
Mr.
Medicare
You
Mr.
have any
President.
do?
socialized medicine.
Mr.
Well, I tell
President,
you what, he is not for any help for people.
I don't think he looks
in
bad at all,
healthcare.
Jiminy. I think it's
Because
hilarious.
Because he, in fact, already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers because of his recession. Number one. Number two,
yeah.
there are 20 million people getting health care through Obamacare now.
he's roping a dope right now. That's what he's
He's
doing.
back on
No,
script.
never
He's back on
look
his
me
number
down and
one,
say
number
that's what he
two
wants to
script.
do. Take it away.
No, I want to give them
Number
better
three.
health care at a much lower price.
Hey, lady,
He
Celtic
doesn't
moon.
know how. He doesn't know how
I've
to do
already
that.
fixed it.
He has never
I've
offered
already
a
fixed
plan.
it to an extent.
He has never
Obamacare,
done a
as you
single
might
thing.
know, but probably don't.
Gentlemen, you
Obamacare
realize
is no
if you're
good,
both
Joe.
speaking at the
It's no
same
good,
time,
and it's too expensive.
let the president go ahead, sir.
Obamacare is no good. We made it better. And I had a choice to make very early on. We took away the individual mandate. We guarantee pre-existing conditions, but took away the individual mandate. Listen, this is the way it is. And that destroyed, they shouldn't even call it Obamacare. Then I had a choice to make. Do I let my people run it really well or badly? If I run it badly, they'll probably blame him, but they'll blame me. But more importantly, I want to help people. Okay. I said, you got to run it so well.
That's what he's
And I
known for.
just had a meeting with them. They said the problem is no matter how well you run Obamacare, it's a disaster. It's too expensive.
I got it.
Premiums
I
are
got
too
it.
high, and
That's
it
what his
doesn't work.
people- that's what his
So
people
we
say.
do want to get rid of it.
It's
Chris,
an
we
open
want to get rid of it.
I
and
understand
give
it, sir,
something
but I have
that's
to. I
cheaper
have to
and
give you
better.
roughly equal time.
Good.
Please let the vice president talk.
Good.
He has no plan for health care.
Please.
He sends out wishful thinking. He has executive orders that have no power. He hasn't lowered drug costs for anybody. He's been promising a health care plan since he got elected. He has none, like almost everything else he talks about. He does
Dude, just
not
the
have a
fact that
plan.
he got those
doesn't have a plan.
guaranteed
The fact
minimum
is he
rates
doesn't
for
know
those
what he's talking
for
about.
I
drugs
have one- I
is
have
going
one
to
final
save
question for you,
billions of
Mr.
dollars
Vice
for
President.
people like my mom.
If Senate Republicans,
Yeah.
I mean,
we're
she's not going to
talking
save billions
originally
herself,
about the
but you know.
Supreme Court. If Senate Republicans go ahead and confirm Justice Barrett, there has been talk about ending the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there. You call this a distraction by the president, but in fact, it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in,
Well, I'm
in the
saying-
Congress. So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take in that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak.
He doesn't
You
want to
should
take
go
a
out and
position.
vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how
Are you gonna
strongly
pack
you
the
feel.
court?
Vote
Are you
now.
gonna pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know
He doesn't want
your
to answer the
senator.
question.
He doesn't
I'm not
want to
gonna
have.
answer the
He
question
doesn't want to
because-
answer anything.
Because the
You wanna
question
put a lot
is,
of
the
new
question
Supreme Court
is,
justice,
the
radical
question-
left.
will you
Who
shut
is your,
up, man?
listen,
This is so-
right.
This is
We've
so
He's gonna pack
unprecedented.
the court.
We
and
have
he's
en-
not
no, no.
gonna give a
We
list.
have
Yes.
on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it?
We're operating another plane here.
People
Another
understand.
plane of existence.
47 years you've done nothing. They understand.
Oh,
All right. The second subject is COVID-19, which is an awfully serious subject. So let's try to be serious about it. We
Come
have
on,
had
man.
more than 7 million cases of coronavirus in the United States, and more than 200,000 people have died. Even after we produce a vaccine, experts say that it could be months or even years before we come back to anything approaching normal. My question for both of you is what you have said and done so far, and what you have said you would do starting in 2021. Why should the American people trust you more than your opponent?
I think Wallace is going to cry
Failed
before
to
this is over.
Public health.
I know, right?
He sounds like it.
I know.
The question goes to you first, sir. 2
Dude,
minutes
Trump
on the
rattled him in the first 30 seconds.
Good luck.
Yeah.
200,000 dead. As you said, over 7 million infected in the United States. We, in fact, have 5%, 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths. 40,000 people a day are contracting.
1.06%
In addition to
of the
that,
population of the U.S. is infected. 1.6%.
they are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is.
1.06.
It is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has no plan. He hasn't laid out anything. He knew all the way back in February how serious this crisis was. He knew it was a deadly disease. What did he do? He's on tape as acknowledging
He
knew
shut
it.
down
He said he
the
didn't
travel
tell
to
us
China
give people a warning
and
on it because
Europe,
he didn't want
knucklehead.
to panic.
January 30th.
Panic. He panicked.
Yeah.
In addition to that, what
Nancy
did he
Pelosi
do?
was telling people to go to Chinatown.
We were
Yeah,
insisting
right.
that the Chinese, the people
And he
we
was
had on the
saying
ground
that
in
there
China
was
should be
that
able
Trump
to
was
back in
fear
like freaking
mongering.
April.
How can he
how
say he was
dangerous
fear
this was.
mongering at the
Yeah.
same time
He
he
didn't
said
even
he
ask
did nothing
Xi
and he
to
wasn't
do that.
taking it
He
seriously?
told us what
Which
a
is
great
it?
job she was doing.
Yeah.
He said we owe him a debt of
These people are
gratitude
so dumb.
for being so transparent with us. And what did he do then? He then did nothing. He waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a plan.
Wrong.
I laid out
Sir,
back
it's
in
Still
March
doesn't have a plan.
exactly what we should be
Yeah,
doing.
none of this is true.
And I laid out again in July what we should be doing. We should be providing all the protective gear possible. We should be providing the money the House has passed in order to be able to go out and get people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools. It costs a lot of money. You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap.
You're
and
the
get
one in the
your
bunker,
golf
you
course and
idiot.
Go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
Get out of your bunker.
So,
This
if we would have
dude.
listened to you.
Trump's
If we
been
would
in
have
like a
listened to
different
you,
city every day
the country would have been
campaigning.
left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000. And one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But what we've done, I closed it, and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist, and he's xenophobic. Because you
It's
didn't think I should
unrelated
have
to
closed
your
our country.
COVID.
No,
Wait a
sir,
minute.
It's his 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said, President Trump saved thousands of lives. Many of your Democrat governors said, President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look. The governors said I did a phenomenal job. Most of them said that. In fact, people that would not be necessarily on my side said that. President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did.
Yeah.
We got the
Even
gowns,
the
masks.
knucklehead
We
in
made the
California said
ventilators.
it.
You wouldn't have made ventilators. And now we're weeks away from a vaccine. We're doing therapeutics already. Fewer people are dying when they get sick. Far fewer people are dying. We've done a great job. The only thing I haven't done a good job, and that's because of the fake news. No matter what you say to them, they give you bad press on it. It's just fake news. They give good press, they give me bad press
Yep.
because that's the way it is, unfortunately. But let me just tell you something. I don't care. I've gotten used to it. But I'll tell you, Joe, you could never have done the job that we did. You don't have it in your blood. You could have never done that job.
No.
I know how to do the job. I know how to get the job
Well, you didn't do
done.
very well in swine
I
flu.
You
Disaster. Your own chief.
get the press playing cover for them. That's why.
14,000 people died, not 200,000. There was
A
no
very-
economic recession.
Sir, you made a
There was,
far
there
less
was no
lethal
recession.
disease.
you made a point. Let him
And there,
answer.
and there was no one, we didn't shut down the economy. This is
Yeah.
his economy that's being, he shut down. The reason.
Oh, I thought it was Obama's
I
company.
thought he didn't do anything.
You folks.
Yeah.
didn't even get up
Wait,
this
did he not
morning
do anything, or did he
and
shut
had
down
an
the,
empty
the
chair at
economy?
kitchen table because someone died of COVID.
It's whatever they want it to be in the moment they're talking.
You lost your
Right.
dad and you couldn't even speak to them. You had a nurse holding a phone up so you could, in fact, say goodbye.
You would have lost far
How
more
many
people.
people?
Far
That is-
more people.
And
You would have been
And by the way,
months late.
your own
You were
his
months behind me,
his
Joe.
own CDC director says we could lose as many as another 200,000 people between now and the end of the year. And he held it.
Yeah, bull.
Just wear a
We
mask.
didn't even lose 200.
Half those numbers, just a mask. And by the way, in terms of the whole notion of a vaccine, we're for a vaccine, but I don't trust him at all, nor do you. I know you don't. What we trust is a scientist.
You don't
We trust Dr.
Johnson &
Fauci.
Johnson,
Except for
Pfizer?
the scientists use silence on
And
Gentlemen,
then,
let me
social media.
to questions about the future because you both have touched on two of the questions I'm going to ask. Focusing on the future first, President Trump, you have repeatedly either contradicted or been at odds with some of your government's own top scientists. The week before last, the head of the Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield, said it would be summer before the vaccine would become generally available to the public. You said that he was confused and mistaken. Those were your two words.
Yeah.
But Dr. Slawi, the head of your Operation Warp Speed, has said exactly the same thing. Are they both wrong?
Well, I've spoken to the companies and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make it political than save lives. It is a
Yep.
very political thing. I've spoken to Pfizer. I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to. We have great Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and others. They can go faster than that by a lot. Become very political because the left, or I don't know if I call
So
them
you're
left, I don't know
suggesting
what I
that the
call them.
head of your Operation Warp Speed, Dr. Slawi,
I disagree with him. Yeah, no, I disagree with both of them. And he didn't say that. He said it could be there, but it could also be much sooner. I had him in my office 2 days ago.
He talked about the summer, sir, before it's generally available. Just
He
like
said
Dr.
it's a
Redfield.
possibility that we'll have the answer before November 1st. It could also
I'm
be
talking about
after
when it's
that.
generally available. not when
Well,
it's
we're going to deliver it right away. We have the military all set up logistically. They're all set up. We have our military.
Bryce,
that
they're
delivers
both
soldiers, and they can
pro-vaccine.
do 200
Yeah.
a day.
Well, he's trying to go with what he thinks the people want too.
It's all
Anti-vaxxers like me are few and far between.
gone away.
And like me,
Whether
I'm
it be
anti-vax.
frankly, so I compare it.
Surprise, surprise.
By the way, maybe you could inject some juice in your
Shocking.
arm, and that would take it.
was said sarcastically.
That was
you
seem-
know that.
I
That was said
And
sarcastically.
so here's the deal. This man is talking about a vaccine. Every serious company is talking about maybe having a vaccine done by the end of the year. But the distribution of that vaccine will not occur until sometime beginning or the middle of next year to get it out, if we get the vaccine. And pray God we will. Pray God we will.
Mr. Vice President, I want to pick up
You'll have
on
the
that.
vaccine
I
sooner
want to
than
pick
that.
up on this question. Though. You say the public can trust the scientists, but they can't trust President Trump. That again tonight. Your running mate, Senator Harris, goes further, saying the public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed, given the fact that polls already show that people are concerned about the vaccine and are reluctant to take it. Are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
No more than the question you just asked him. You pointed out. He puts pressure and disagrees with his own scientists.
But you're saying you
Everybody
can't, or
knows.
Senator
And
Harris is saying you
no,
can't trust the scientists.
No, you can't trust the scientists. She didn't say that. You can't trust
She
the
said the public health
Did say
experts,
that.
quote, will be muzzled, will be
Yes.
suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to do. But there's millions of scientists. There's thousands of scientists out there, like here at this great
Millions of
hospital, that
scientists.
don't work for him. Their job doesn't depend on him. That's not. They're the people. By the way,
Spoke to the
and
scientists that are in
by
charge.
the way,
They will have
and
the vaccine very soon.
does-
Let him finish.
Do you believe for a moment what he's telling you in light of all the lies he's told you about the whole issue relating to COVID? He still hasn't even
What
acknowledged
issues?
that
I know, right?
knew this was happening, knew how dangerous it was going to be back in February, and he didn't even tell you. He's on record as saying it. He panicked or he just looked at the stock market, one of the two, because guess what? A lot of people died, and a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
So-
Mr. President?
Oh, give me a.
So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word. Oh, give me. You know what? There was nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years you've done nothing.
Let's have this debate.
If you
Fat,
had-
drunk, and stupid. There's no way to lifestyle.
had the charge of what I was put through. I had to close the greatest economy in the history of our country. And by the way, now it's being built again.
See,
and
he's
it's
We're going to
going
get
up
to the
fast.
economy in the next segment. Sir.
Okay.
It's going up fast. Looking
Okay.
forward to talking.
When it comes to how the virus has been handled so far, the two of you have taken very different approaches, and this is going to affect how the virus is handled going forward by whichever of you ends up becoming the next president. I want to
Which I wonder who it's going to be.
reopenings. Vice President Biden, you have been much more reluctant than President Trump about reopening the economy and schools. Why, sir?
Because he doesn't have a plan. If I were running, I know what the plan is. You've got to provide.
Someone
these
would tell me what the
businesses
plan
the
is.
ability
Yeah.
to be able to reopen with the PPE
Camel
as
would tell
well
me.
as with the
In a-
sanitation they need.
in a
You
Harris
have to provide
Biden
them
administration.
Pelosi.
that- Well, hush for a minute.
Tell it to
The-
Nancy
the-
Pelosi.
And
She's like,
Hey, Chuck.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Schumer, they have a plan. He won't even meet with them. The Republicans won't meet with him in the
Okay.
Senate. And he sits on his golf course. And
Oh, he's starting to lose it right now.
You probably
All right,
play
think
more than
about
I do, Joe.
What about this question of reopenings and the fact?
Well, he wants to shut down this country,
Oh.
and I want to keep it open. And we
You
did
ju-
a
he
great
just
thing by
admitted
shutting
he
it
shut
down.
it down.
Wait a minute,
Let
Joe.
him
Let me
finish,
shut
sir.
you down for a second. Joe, just for we want to.
Ah.
He wants to shut down the country. We just went through it. We had to because we didn't know anything about the disease. Now we found that elderly people with heart problems and diabetes and different problems are very, very vulnerable. We learned a lot. Young children aren't. Even younger people aren't. We've learned a lot. But he wants to shut it down. More people will be hurt by continuing. If you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at certain states that have been shut down, they have Democrat governors all. One of the reasons they're shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election.
All
Yeah,
right,
November
yeah.
3rd.
Because
They wanna make it look bad for him.
But those states, those states are not doing well that are shut down
But you've
right
got to
now.
respond to that.
Wants to
President
shut
Trump,
down the
you
whole
have
country.
begun to increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer. And in fact, recently you have cited the issue of waiters.
Well,
touching their
look at
masks and
how about
touching
you look
plates.
at the scientists that are saying that
questioning
masks are
No, I think the
worthless.
masks
Efficacy
are-
of
Yeah.
You understand? If you look, I mean, I have a
Just
mask
read the,
on.
the box of masks on the outside of the box. It
Right, as an example, everybody's had a test and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to, but I
Just
wear
like your
masks
rallies.
when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He should have I've ever seen. I will say,
President Biden, go ahead, sir.
Look, the way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to open. We provide.
Thanks,
money
Joe.
to
I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Well, masks make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if we just wore masks between now, everybody wore masks in social distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100.
Yeah, that was before he said you didn't really need it.
It matters.
Yeah.
they've also
It
said the
matters.
opposite. They've
And
also said
no,
That's
no
right.
serious person said the opposite.
they've
No
also said, well, look
serious.
at
I wanna
Dr.
ask you-
Fauci.
Yeah, they did.
Dr. Fauci said the
He
opposite.
did
I
not
want
say
to
the
ask you, we got
opposite.
a
said
little
very
bit more than a
strongly.
minute left in this.
Masks
Yeah.
are good.
Joe doesn't remember that far back.
I
I'm
want to
okay
ask,
with masks.
I
I'm
want to
not
ask you
fighting
both about
masks.
one last subject because your different approaches has even affected
Exactly,
the way that you
Nigel.
have
He should just
campaigned.
move over to
President
CNN.
Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together, thousands of people.
Outside.
He's always been a
Outside,
never
yes, sir,
Trumper, man.
agreed. Vice President Biden, you are holding.
He
much
doesn't care about the
smaller,
principles of
events with
conservatism.
nobody
He
will show
pretends
up.
he's a conservative, but really he's just a
That's true. Nobody shows
he's
up. for his
a
rally.
In any
What do you
case,
call it?
why you holding the
Establishmentarian.
big rallies? Why you not? You go first.
Yep.
Because people want
It's
to
a crony.
I mean,
But are you
you've
not
done a
worried
great
about it
job
spreading
as a
disease?
president, and I'll have 35,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Are you
and
not worried
hangars, and
about
we
the
have a
disease
lot of
issues,
people.
sir?
Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference according to the experts. And we do them outside. We have tremendous crowd, as you see. I mean, and literally on 24 hours notice. And Joe does the circles and has 3 people come through.
Okay. By the way, did you see one of the last big rallies he had? When a reporter came up to him to ask him a question, he said, no, stand back. Put on your mask. Put on a mask. Have you been tested? I'm way far away from those other people. And that's what he said. I can't. I'm going to be okay. He's not worried about you. He's not worried about the people.
This is the guy who's like 30 feet away from reporters
We've had no negative.
with like 5 people at his rallies.
All right.
People
You want to
at these rallies.
just quickly finish up because I want to move on to our next.
Yes, I would. He's been totally irresponsible the way in which he has handled the social distancing and people wearing masks, basically encourage them not to.
All right.
Ben, he's a fool on this.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the gentlemen? Can we move on? The economy, is, fair to say, recovering faster than expected from the shutdown. In the second quarter, the unemployment rate fell to 8.4% last month. The Federal Reserve says the hit to growth.
Junkyard, a ton of people in America, they don't even wear, they don't wear like real masks.
President Trump, you
they
say
wear
we
like
are in a V-shaped
material masks. What that gator that he's got on right now, pretty much any, you could put a freaking fishnet on your face and that counts for
the American
masks. But yeah, if somebody is immunocompromised, they're the people that should be wearing masks, and they should be wearing good ones.
Because of the China
But not just everybody, especially when you're out jogging or riding a bike or something.
We should close it down, and he was wrong.
Yeah.
Again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still 204,000 people is too much. One person is too much. Should have never happened from China. But what happened is we closed it down, and now we're reopening, and we're doing record business. We had 10.4 4-month period that we've put back into the workforce. That's a record the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. And he wants to close down he will shut it down again. He will destroy this country. You know, a lot of people between drugs and alcohol and depression, when you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening in some of your Democrat-run states where they have these tough shutdowns. And I'm telling you, it's because they don't want to open it. One of them came out last week. You saw that. Oh, we're going to open up on November 9th. Why November 9th? Because it's after the election. They're hurting us by keeping them closed. They're hurting people. People know what to do. They can social distance. They can wash their hands. They can wear masks. They can do whatever they want. But they got to open these states up. When you look at North Carolina, when you look, and these governors are under siege, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and a couple of others, you got to open these states up. It's not fair. You're talking about almost, it's like being in prison. And you look at what's going on with divorce, look at what's going on with alcoholism and drugs. It's a very, very sad thing. And he'll close down the whole country. This guy will close down the whole country and destroy our country. Our country is coming back incredibly well, setting records as it does it. We don't need somebody to come in and say, let's shut it down.
All right. Your 2 minutes, sir. We're now moved to you. As I said, posing the question, the president says it's a V-shaped recovery. You say it's a K-shaped recovery. What's the difference?
The difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis.
Like you,
done very well.
Joe Biden.
Another billionaires have made another $300 billion because of his profit.
Now your buddies that you line their pockets.
And he only focused on the market.
They showed his tax. He paid. Biden paid $3 million in taxes in 2017.
Working class towns in America.
If you're paying $3 million in taxes, that means you're making $6 million a year.
Sir, wait, no, sir. It's just yeah. I understand. You've agreed to the 2 minutes, so please let him have it.
Do I get my time back? The fact is that he has, in fact, worked on.
Can't get that time back, Joe.
First president of the United States to leave
47 years.
Having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he became president. First one in American history. Secondly, the people who have are those people who have been on the front lines. Those people who have been saving our lives. Those people who have been out there dying. People who have been putting themselves in a way to make sure that we could all try to make it. And the idea that he is insisting that we go forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America. And he wants to open it up more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take care of the American? You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better for you all at home in terms of your health and your safety. Schools, why aren't schools open? Because it costs a lot of money to open them safely. You know, they were going to give, his administration was going to give the
That's
teachers
not
and
why.
school students masks. And then they decided, no, couldn't do that because it's not a national emergency. Not a national emergency. They've done nothing to help small businesses. Nothing. They're closing. 1 in 6 is now gone. He ought to get on the job and take care of the needs of the American people so we can open safely.
All right, your time is up.
Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take
You both have 2 minutes, sir.
Excuse me, you made a statement. People want their schools, no, people want their schools open. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town. And I'm not sure it can ever recover what they've done in New York. People want their places
Democrats.
open. They want to get back to their lives.
People
They'll
want
be
to be
careful,
safe.
but they want their schools open.
To be safe.
Brought back football. By the way, I brought back Big Ten football. It was
Hiding
me
under their beds, crapping their diapers to be safe.
and
All right,
the
let's-
people of
let's-
Ohio are very proud of me. And you know
We're
how
going
I
to get
found
back,
out? When he took the
gentlemen,
phony
we're going to
ad.
get to your economic plans going forward in a moment. But first, Mr. President, as you well know, there's a new report.
Man, Biden
that
talks
in
out of both sides of his
2016,
mouth
the year you were
constantly.
elected
There's
president,
nothing he says that he's not
2017,
contradicting
your
himself
first
on.
year as president,
Yeah.
you paid $750 a year in federal income tax.
That was one
each of
year.
those
It's
years.
not a year.
I know that you pay a lot of other taxes, but I'm asking you the specific question. Is it true that you paid $750
Now he paid $1 million. That was in 2016 or
taxes
17.
each of those 2 years?
I paid millions of dollars in
Yeah.
tax, millions of dollars of income tax. And let me just tell you, there was a story in one of the papers.
Show us your tax
I paid $38 million one year. I paid $27 million.
Show us your
one
tax
year.
returns.
I went, you'll see it as soon as it's finished. You'll see it. You know, if you want to do, go to the Board of Elections. There's
Yeah.
a 118-page or so report that says everything I have, every bank I have, I'm totally under leveraged because the assets are extremely good. And we have a very, I built
Sir,
a great
I'm asking you a
company.
specific question, which
But
is.
let me tell you.
I understand all of that.
Release your
I
tax
understand.
Let's see Biden's tax returns and his son.
President, I'm asking you a question. Will
Freaking
you tell
Wallace,
us
man.
how much you
Shut up
paid
and let
in
him talk.
federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017?
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 750.
Millions of
Dude, who
dollars.
cares? Like he did anything. If he did anything nefarious, the IRS would be all over him.
Let me say something that
He's been audited like every year for how many years?
I don't
8
wanna
years straight.
say that. Before I came here, I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for depreciation and for tax credits. We built the building and we get tax credits like the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. You get a massive, which by the way, was given to me by the Obama administration, if you can believe that. Now the man got fired right after that happened, but
Vice
that's
President
okay.
Biden.
Yeah, I do want to respond. Look, the tax code that made him, put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher makes.
Yeah, we believe that.
Makes is because of him he says he's smart because he can take advantage of the tax code. And he does take advantage of the tax code. That's
As he
why
should.
I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts. And I'm going to eliminate those
They're not
tax
Trump.
cuts and make sure that we invest in the people who in fact need the help. People out there need help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you weren't
Why didn't you
president.
do it over
Because
the
you
last
weren't
25
president
years? No,
screwing
no,
things
no.
up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were a
president
vice-
America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Jeremy,
on.
let me just say this. In 47 months, I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done
Yep.
things that you never even thought of doing,
Okay.
including
Gentlemen.
That's right. And here goes Wallace with the cue to stop it from
taking
talking.
care of
We're
your
talking,
vets.
Mr. President, about the economy. I'd like to ask you about your
No way
plans
I'd get
going
drunk,
forward,
Cameron.
because,
Drink every time
Mr.
Wallace
Vice
cuts
President,
off
your
Trump.
economic plan,
Yeah.
if you were to be
Yes,
elected
ma'am.
president, focuses a lot on big government, big taxes, big spending. I want to focus first on the taxes. You propose more than $4 trillion over a decade in new taxes on individuals making more than $400,000 a year and on corporations. President Trump says that that kind of an increase in taxes is going to hurt the economy as it's just coming out of a recession.
Well, just take a look at what is the analysis done by Wall Street firms. Points out that my economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years, number one. And
What?
number two, it would
How?
create an additional $1 trillion in economic growth because it would be
He's just
about
making this crap
buying
up.
America.
Too bad he wasn't doing it in that freaking recession we had under
Right?
Obama.
$600 billion a year on everything from ships to steel to buildings and the like. And under my proposal, we're
He
going
was
to
just waiting for the
every
opportunity when
penny
he's going to run for himself
be
again.
made by a company.
But
in
respectfully,
America.
sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
By the way, I'm going to eliminate significant number of the tax. I'm going to make the corporate tax 28%. It shouldn't be 21%. You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500 who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of
Why
dollars.
didn't you do it
Billions of
before?
dollars.
You were vice
Yeah.
president Obama.
Because you, in fact,
Because they were my donors.
that was
Right,
your
I got
tax
it.
Because they were the
You
crony
know that?
capitalists.
You got it done.
Our
Yeah.
economy boomed
And
like it's never boomed.
the economy
Well,
is
Mr.
busted.
President,
Let me finish.
Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You would continue your free market approach, lower taxes,
Hell yeah.
more deregulation, correct?
Not lower taxes for American people.
Let me,
Excuse me.
but in Obama's, you talk about the economy booming. It turns out that in Obama's final 3 years as president, more jobs were created, 1.5 million more jobs than in the first 3 years of your presidency.
They had the slowest recovery economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest recovery. Also, they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot. But they had the slowest economic recovery since 1929. Let me tell you about the stock market. When the stock market goes up, that means jobs. It also means 401ks. If you got in, if you ever became president with your ideas, you want to terminate my taxes, I'll tell you what, you'll lose half of the companies that have poured in here will leave, and plenty
Half
of companies that are
companies,
already here, they'll leave for
hardly
other
any companies
places.
have
They will
poured in
leave,
here.
and you will have a
Have it.
depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
Look,
Mr.
we
Vice President.
inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American history. I was asked to bring it back. We were able to have an
You were
economic
asked.
recovery that
You
created
do
the
nothing,
jobs
you
you're
idiot.
talking about. We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It
That wasn't
He blew
booming.
it.
Oh my
He
gosh.
It
blew
wasn't booming.
It
It was the weakest recovery
Well, sir, is it
since
fair to wait? Is it fair to
1929.
say he blew it when, in
When
fact,
COVID came.
when there was record low unemployment
Yeah.
before COVID?
Yeah, but because what he did, even before COVID, manufacturing went in the hole. Manufacturing went in the hole.
Excuse
number
me,
one.
Chris. Wait,
Number two.
Chris.
Number three.
They said
they-
it would
they-
take. No, you're a number two.
No.
Chris. They said it would
This
take a
guy.
miracle to bring back manufacturing. I brought back 700,000 jobs. They brought back nothing. They gave up on
They even
manufacturing.
said it wouldn't even come back.
Fair.
He literally
Right.
said
Totally
he'd
gave
need a
up on
magic.
manufacturing.
What's he got? A
Yeah.
magic
We
wand?
get a magic wand to wave.
Back,
Make those jobs come. Ain't coming back.
back right here in the state of Ohio and Michigan. He blew it. They're gone. He blew it. And in fact, they're going.
Ohio had the best year it's ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That is not
Many
true.
car companies
That
came
is true.
from
Not-
Japan, went to Michigan, went to
They're
Ohio,
not having.
and they
Mr.
didn't
Vice-
come
wait,
in
wait,
with
Mr. Vice President, go ahead.
And so you take a look at what he's actually done. He's done very
That's why
little.
he's popular.
Trade deals are the same way. He talks about these great trade deals. You know, he talks about the art of the deal. China perfected the art of the steal. We have a higher deficit with China now than we did before. We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch.
All
Down
right,
to
gentlemen,
10%.
in-
China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder
Yeah.
he takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also,
Simply
while we're
not
at it,
true.
why is
Simply
it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5
Yeah.
million.
That's
Yeah.
You to deserve it.
That
What
is-
did he do with Marissa?
None
to
of
deserve
Yeah.
$100,000?
Exactly.
None
You
of
asked
that
a
is
question,
true.
let him answer. If
None
Dude, it's
of
freaking.
that is
Oh, really? He didn't
totally,
get
But no,
$3.5
hey,
million?
Mr. President,
It's
Mr.
totally-
President, please. you've
totally
asked the question.
discredited. Totally discredited. And by the
By
way,
who?
Wait, he
that's
didn't
all-
get
No, no.
$3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice,
He got
Mr.
$3.5 million.
President,
Yeah. He's quiet now.
True.
Oh, really?
Mr.
Oh,
President,
He's like, is it true? I gotta remember now.
please,
It's a fact.
well,
There's,
you
there's
have
not.
raised an issue. Let the
It's been
Vice
totally
President answer.
discredited.
Did
There was a
Burisma pay him
report.
$183,000 a
a-
month with no
That's
experience?
right, baby.
Mr.
Look,
President,
Give it to him. So
and Mr.
The only
President,
guy that
let him
did-
answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position is thoroughly
By
discredited.
who?
And you
The
can-
media.
By everybody. Well, by the
By the
media,
media,
by our
because they refuse to
allies, by
talk
the
about it
World
because they're
Bank, by,
biased.
You sit on a throne of lies.
by everyone. Matter of fact, even the people
President,
who
please stop.
testified under oath.
So let me
Under
ask you
oath.
this,
And-
Joe.
and-
No, no,
Oh.
go ahead, Mr. I'm listening to
Even the
you.
People under.
You got $3.5
he
million from
testified-
Moscow.
He testified under oath in his administration, said, I did my job and I did it very well.
Oh,
I did
really?
it
I'd like to know
honorably.
who they are.
Well, I'll give you the list
I'll
of the
fire
people who
them.
testified.
No, go ahead, sir.
Sure, you've already fired most of them because they did a
Some
good
because
job.
Some people don't do
Well,
a good
here's,
job. With you,
Go
they
ahead.
say
You get
here's
the,
the
wait a
deal.
minute. You get the final word, Mr.
well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me, this.
Hey, let me
this
just
person.
say, Jeff,
No,
No.
Mr. President.
$3.5
Mr.
million,
President,
Joe.
That is simply.
Why did he
not true.
deserve $3.5 million
It
from
did-
Moscow?
Look, here's the
exactly. Keep hammering that.
about families and ethics. I don't want to do that. I mean, his family, we could talk about all night. His family's
My
already.
family,
No, let him go.
my family
already
lost
wrote-
a fortune by
They're not
coming
cokeheads.
to government.
sir.
And that's
Every-
such a.
and they're right
Go
here.
ahead, Mr.
That's
President.
such
Every
a great.
single one of them lost.
This is not
Mr.
about
President.
my
Coming and
family or
helping
his
us
family.
with
It's
government.
about your family, the
They
American people.
$3.5 million.
He doesn't want to talk about what you need. You, the American people. It's about you. That's what we're talking about.
you
here.
should
All right,
take-
that's
Not
the end
about
of the,
here.
that's the end of the segment. We're moving on.
He didn't take that.
Well,
Vice
it's a
President,
very-
no,
Can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
point.
no,
honest.
I-
He stood up.
no.
He stood up
The answer to
and
the
he
question is
threatened
no.
Ukraine
No,
with
sir.
$1 billion
Sir,
if you
That
get rid of
is
the cops.
you know what, you're-
absolutely not
Stop.
true.
Tape
You're-
doing it.
you're gonna
You're on
have-
tape.
True.
Gentlemen, I hate to raise my voice, but I
He's
see it
on
seems
tape.
to be, why should I be different than the two of you? So here's the deal. We have 6 segments. After that segment, we're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say anything you want.
That's not going to happen.
I'm going to ask a question about race, but if you want to answer about something else, go ahead. But I think that the country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
Yeah, but Chris is just lying the whole time.
Frankly,
Well,
we've been
not
doing
Chris,
more
but
interruptions.
well, him too. But
He does
Biden.
No, less than, sir, less
There's
than,
plenty.
no, less than you have. Let's please continue on. The issue of race. Vice President Biden, you say that President Trump's response to the violence in Charlottesville 3 years ago, when he talked about very fine people on both sides, was what directly led you to launch this run for president.
Oh, yeah, sure.
President,
That's great.
you have done more for Black
Oh, yeah,
Americans
sure.
than any
Oh, yeah,
president, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. My question for the two of you is, why should voters trust you rather than your opponent to deal with the race issues facing this country over the next 4 years? Vice President Biden, you go first.
Come on, man.
It's about
Look at-
equity and equality. It's about
There's
decency. It's
I
about
need
the
my
Constitution.
batteries need
we have never walked
recharging.
away.
Yeah. I told you to need a break.
Our equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. But we've never walked away from it like he has done. It is true. The reason I got in the race is when those people, close your eyes, remember what those people look like coming out of the fields carrying torches, their veins bulging, spewing, and just
Paint the
spewing
picture for us, Joey.
bile, and accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed. And they asked the president what he thought. He said there were very fine people on both sides. No president has ever said anything like that.
It is who's
Now,
who in
second-
it, sir.
Second point I'd make to you is that when Floyd was killed, when Mr.
Just
Floyd
tell Chris to kiss your rear.
Floyd,
was in front of the White House,
Mr.
what did he do?
drugged
He came
out,
out of his
freaking
bunker, had the
OD.
military use tear gas on him so he could walk across to a church and hold up.
That's a
Bible.
bull. That's light right there, too, man. He didn't use tear gas on people to walk.
Very church said that it was the disgrace. The general who was with him said he
Yeah. The
only-
disgrace wasn't trying to burn the church down.
not unite people at all. This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred. racist division.
That's
This
why
is a
he's got
man
the
who, in fact,
highest black
talk about
approval
helping
numbers
African
for a
Americans.
Republican probably
One
since
in
Lincoln.
1,000 African Americans
Yeah.
killed because of
Seriously.
the coronavirus. And if he doesn't
Everybody's
do
not
something
buying
quickly,
your
by the end of
crap,
the year,
Joe.
1 in 500 will have been killed. 1 in 500 African Americans. This man is a savior of African Americans. This man cares at all.
Yeah.
This man's done virtually nothing. Look,
Did he pass a crime bill?
you have to look
Yeah.
at what he talks about. You have to look at what he did, and what he did has been disastrous for the African American community.
Yeah. He let people out of prison.
Not even
Trust you have 2
close,
minutes.
man.
Why should
Not even close.
Americans trust you over your opponent to deal with
They did
racism?
a crime bill, 1994.
Yep.
Where you call them super predators, African Americans, the super predators, and they've
Yep.
never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Joe.
No, sir. It's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they call you a super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community, you have treated the black community about as bad as anybody in this country. You did the 1990, and that's why if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time because they saw what you did. You called them super predators, and you've called them worse than that because you look back at your testimony over the years, you've called them a lot worse than that as far
Heck
as
yeah.
the church is concerned and as far as the generals are
He didn't want
concerned.
his kids to be part of a jungle, right?
250 military leaders and generals, total support. Law enforcement, almost every law enforcement group in the United States. I have Florida, I have Texas, I have Ohio, I have Portland. The sheriff just came out today and he said, I support President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. And why aren't you saying those words, Joe? Why don't you say the words law enforcement? Because you know what? If they called us in Portland, we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at
his constituents.
if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day and they put up their hands and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't. The top 10 cities and
There
just
will
about
not
the
be a
top
second
40
debate.
cities are run by
No
Democrats,
way
and in many
Biden's
cases,
handlers will let him
radical left, and they've
put
got
him
you
up to
wrapped
this
around their finger,
freaking
Joe,
beating
to
a second
point where
time.
you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
All right. I want to return to the question of race. Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there's systemic injustice in this country, in education and work and in
Yeah, you've been working on it for 47 years.
Yeah.
But look, the majority of police officers
He's like, I wrote the bill for it.
honorable men and women. They risk their lives every day to take care of us. But there are some bad apples. And when they occur, when they find them, they have to be sorted out. They have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. And what I'm going to do as President of the United States is call together an entire group of people at the White House, well, everything from the civil rights groups to the police officers, the police chiefs, and we're going to work this out. We're going to work this out so we change the way in which we have more transparency in when these things happen. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to George Floyd. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to Breonna Taylor.
He died of a drug
Most
overdose.
don't like it, but we have to have a system where people are held
I heard that she had
violence and response.
was it a
is never
body in the trunk of her
never
car or
appropriate.
something like that?
No, there was a guy who was shot to death. They found in a rented car that was rented under her name.
When they run through the middle of the town and burn down your
President
stores
Trump,
and kill people all
President
over
Trump,
the place,
that
and you
is
say
not
peaceful
peaceful.
protest.
President
No,
Trump,
it's
I'm not
not, but
asking-
you say it is.
President
I did not
Trump, I'd
say
like to continue with the
Yes,
issue
go
of
ahead,
race. I
please.
promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order in a moment. This month, your administration directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training that
Good.
addresses white
Yeah.
privilege or critical race theory.
Yeah,
Why did
that's
you
racist
decide
crap.
to do that, to end racial sensitivity training? And do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country, sir?
I ended it because it's racist. I ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were asked to do things that were absolutely insane, that it was a radical revolution that was taking place in our military, in our schools, all over the place. And you know it, and so does everybody
what
else.
is radical,
and he would know.
What is
Oh, it was
radical
totally
about
racist.
racial sensitivity training?
If you were a certain person, you had no status in life. It was sort of a reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas and frankly, very sick ideas. And really, they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen.
That's right.
We have to go back to the core values of this country. They were teaching people that our country is a horrible place. It's a racist place. And they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Vice President Biden?
Nobody's doing that. He's
That's right, because he didn't allow it.
I know a lot more about
You
this.
don't
than he
know.
does.
Let him finish.
The fact is that there is racial insensitivity. People have to be made aware of what
Have to be made.
they feel like, what
If
insults.
people want to be racist, let them be racist. It's a free country, right?
Important to people know they don't want to
They have to be re-educated.
hurt other people's feelings, but it makes a big difference. It makes a gigantic.
See how far you get in
difference.
life being
Child
racist.
is able to grow up and have a sense of self-esteem. It's a little bit like how this guy and his friends look down on so many people. They look down their nose on people like Irish Catholics like me and grew up in Scranton. They look down on
What?
people who
Scranton. You just like saying Scranton.
of a different faith. They look down on people who are a different color. In fact, we're all Americans. The only way we're going to bring this country together is bring everybody together. There's nothing we
Is
can
to
do
dissolve the
if we
Democrat
do it
Party.
together. We can take this on and we can defeat racism
Vice
in America.
President Trump, sir.
During the Obama-Biden administration, there was tremendous division. There was hatred. You look at Ferguson. You go to many places. Look at Oakland. Look what happened in Oakland. Look what happened in Baltimore. Look what happened. Frankly, it was more violent than what I'm even seeing now.
Oh, my
But the
Lord.
reason
This
is that
ridiculous.
the Democrats that run these
Absolutely
cities
ridiculous.
don't want to talk like you about law and order.
Violent
and you
crime,
still haven't mentioned.
violent
Are you in
crime.
favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow
Are you in
it and a little
favor
bit
of law and order? Go
Yes, I'm
ahead.
in
say
favor.
it.
You asked a question, let him finish.
Law and
He
order.
loses
Law
left.
and
Let
order.
him, let him
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly. And the fact of the matter is, violent crime went down 17%, 15% in our administration.
All right.
It's gone up.
That's because you made it legal, you moron.
All right, we're now,
Makes-
you're, Mr. President, you're going to
States of America.
We
Mr.
were
President,
breaking every record in the book.
Mr. President, you're going to be very happy because
And the
we're now going to talk about law and order.
Places we had trouble were Democratic-run cities.
That's
and
exactly
so
my question.
Democratic-
There has been a dramatic increase in homicides in America this summer, particularly, and you often blame
Oh,
that
really?
Democratic mayors and Democratic governors, but in fact, there have been equivalent spikes in Republican-led cities like
That's
Tulsa,
BS.
Fort Worth. So the question is this really
Yeah.
a party issue?
I think it's a party issue. You can bring in a couple of examples, but if you look at Chicago, what's going on in Chicago, where 53 people were shot and 8 died shot. If you look at New York, where it's going up like nobody's ever seen anything, the numbers are going up 100, 150, 200% crime. It
Republican
is
cities.
crazy what's going on. And he doesn't want to say law and order because he can't, because he'll lose his radical left supporters. And once he does that, it's over with. But if he ever got to run this country and they ran it the way he would want to run it, we would have our suburbs would be gone. By the way, our suburbs would be gone. And you would see problems like you've
He
never
would
seen.
know a suburb unless he took a wrong turn.
Oh, I know suburbs.
He would not.
So much
I was
better.
raised.
Go ahead,
I was-
wait a minute.
I was
He's
He's
raised
not like
in
from
suburbs.
Scranton like
This is
you
not
are.
1950.
Pedo
All
Joe.
the and racism don't work anymore. Suburbs are by and large integrated. There's many people today driving their kids to soccer practice and or to black and white and Hispanic in the same car as there have been any time in the past. What's
Where'd you get that stat?
is his failure to deal with COVID. They're dying in the suburbs. His failure to deal
Yeah,
with
they're dying in the
They're
suburbs.
dying in the
flooded.
suburbs?
They're being
I live in
burned
the
out
suburbs. I didn't
because
notice
he has
anybody
refusal
dying.
to do anything. That's why the
They
suburbs.
walk around without a mask for the first 3-4 months.
Though, and in the joint recommendation that came from the Biden, Bernie Sanders,
I gotta go
task
turn the
force,
AC on.
you talked
Yeah, I'm
about
sweating too. Turn it on for me.
reimagining policing. What does reimagining policing mean, and do you support
It means
Let me, if I might finish the question. What does reimagining policing mean? And do you support the Black Lives Matter call for community control of policing?
look, what I support is the police having the opportunity to deal with the problems they face. And I'm not
What?
completely opposed to defunding the police officers. As a matter of fact, police
Having the opportunity.
the only one defunding, and his budget calls
Can you
for
create the opportunity for police?
local law enforcement assistance. They need more assistance. They need, when they show up for a 9/11 call, to have someone with them as a psychologist or psychiatrist.
Oh gosh.
Having to use
We need
force,
a
able to talk people down.
bleeding heart liberal with the police officer to help them through this trying time of being arrested.
Get to know the people in the communities. That's when crime went down. It didn't go up, it went down. And so we have to be engaged.
That's not what
in
they're
prevention.
talking about,
That-
Chris. That's
well,
not what
that-
they're talking.
that's
He's talking about
exactly-
defunding the police.
That is not true.
He doesn't have
It
any
is true.
Well, you
support.
look,
He has no law enforcement
that's not
support,
true.
almost
That's
nothing.
not, look,
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group
Yeah.
that supported you. Go
Look,
ahead.
look.
Think. We have time.
we don't have time to do anything.
Name one law enforcement group that came
Just
out.
one.
I'm going to take back the
There aren't.
moderator's
I don't
role,
think there
and
are any.
I want to get to another subject, which is the issue of protests in many cities.
What the heck? Is that in and out I see?
In Portland, Oregon,
Dang it.
more than 100
Rah.
straight day protests.
Double.
Which I think you would agree. You talk about peaceful protests. Many of those turned into riots. Mr. Vice President, you say that people who commit crimes should be held accountable. The question I have, though, is as the Democratic nominee, and earlier tonight you said that you are the Democratic Party right now. Have you
Oh,
ever
he stepped
called
in, huh?
the Democratic
I am
governor of
the
Oregon,
Democratic
Democratic
Party.
governor of Oregon said, hey, you got to stop this, bring in the National Guard, do whatever it takes, but you'd stop the days and months of violence in Portland.
I don't hold public office now. I am a former vice president. I've made it clear in my public statement that the violence should be prosecuted. It should be prosecuted. And anyone who commits it
But
should
you've
be
never
prosecuted.
called for the people,
He's never
the
said
leader, excuse me, sir. You have never called for the leaders in Portland and in Oregon to call and
Because
bring in
they-
the National Guard and knock
Well,
off 100 days of riots.
They can, in fact, take care of it if he just stay out of the way. Look, here,
Oh, really?
If you stay out of the way, yeah. How many days has it been?
Ask him a
Marshall,
question.
forget the killer
No,
of the
then-
young man in the middle of the street. They shot him. And for 3 days,
President Trump,
Portland
President
wouldn't do
Trump,
anything. I
please
had to send in
interrupt-
the U.S. Marshals.
President
They took
Trump,
care of business.
Go ahead,
and,
sir.
and by the way, his own former spokesperson said, riots and chaos and violence help his cause. That's what this is all
I
about.
don't know who said that.
I do.
Who?
I think Kellyanne Conway.
I don't think she said that.
She said that.
I don't
And so here's the,
All right.
well, here's the
Here's the point. Forget that what I just said.
What he is keeps trying to rile everything up. He doesn't want to calm things down. Instead of going in and talking to people and saying, let's get everybody together, figure out how to deal with this. What's he do? He just pours gasoline in the fire constantly
And-
every single solitary
Okay,
time.
and to end this, button up this segment, I'm going to give you a minute to answer, sir. You have repeatedly
Well, wait, I
criticized.
have to answer his
No,
statement.
you have
His statement.
repeatedly,
Wait,
you have
just one
repeated, no,
second.
you've been talking
You
back
made
and
a
forth.
statement.
I'm asking you.
I would love
you
to
know,
end it.
sir.
I would love to end it. and
You know,
we
if
would
you want to
very-
switch seats,
we would
could
very quickly.
We can do that, but
I'd
I'm
send
no,
in the
I'm,
National Guard, it would be over. There'd be no problem.
okay.
But they
Good.
don't want to accept the National Guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing
That's right.
extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups
Sure.
and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number
His
of
voice
these
is
cities,
certainly
as we
shaking.
saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
She's
Are you
gonna cry.
perfectly
But do it.
Well,
I
go
would
ahead,
say I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from
Yeah.
the right.
So what are you
If you
what
look,
are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see
Well,
peace.
then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
You want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name. Go ahead.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me
supremacists.
to
Yeah.
name?
Yeah, he won't say it.
White
Proud
left
Boys,
side.
stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left because this is not a
His
right-wing
own-
problem.
His
This
own
is a left-wing.
FBI director
This
said
is
That's
a
right.
left-wing
Go ahead,
problem.
white
Go ahead, sir.
supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an
Oh,
organization.
you got it.
not
Kid.
militia.
Yeah, give me a break.
FBI.
They're freaking being housed in tents in the
Well,
city.
no,
They don't
that's, we're done,
corded
sir.
off section.
On to the next.
Everybody
We're
who
moving.
gives you advice
hits
in
you
your
over the head, that's
administration.
not an idea.
Everybody in
Antifa
your
is bad.
administration tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas.
Antifa is a dangerous
All right,
radical
gentlemen, we're
group.
now moving on.
Yeah,
to the
Mike Wallace, you got to stop him there. Don't talk about Antifa.
When a president, I'm going to ask a question. When the president seeks a second term, it is generally a referendum on his record. But Vice President Biden, you like to quote one of your dad's sayings, which is, don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative. And in this case, sir, you are the alternative. Looking at both of
Oh,
your...
so in other cases, he's the almighty.
Why should voters elect you president over your opponent? In this segment, President Trump, you go first, 2 minutes.
Because there has never been an administration or president who has done more than I've done in a period of 3.5 years. And that's despite the impeachment hoax. And you saw what happened today with Hillary Clinton, where it was a whole big con job. But despite going through all of these things where I had to fight both flanks and behind me and above, there has never been an administration that's done what I've done. The greatest, before COVID came in, the greatest economy in history, lowest unemployment numbers. Everything was good. Everything was going. And by the way, there was unity going to happen. People were calling me for the first time in years. They were calling and they were saying, it's time maybe. And then what happened? We got hit, but now we're building it back up again. A rebuilding of the military, including Space Force and all of the other things. A fixing of the VA, which was a mess under him. 308,000 people died because they didn't have proper health care. It was a mess. And we now got a 91% approval rating at the VA, our vets. We take care of our vets, but we've rebuilt our military. The job that we've done, and I'll tell you some people say maybe the most important. By the end of the first term, I'll have approximately 300 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, 300, and hopefully 3 great Supreme Court justices. That is a record, the likes of which very few people, and you know, one of the reasons I'll have so many judges, because President Obama and him left me 128 judges to fill. When you leave office, you don't leave any judges. That's like, you just don't do that. They left 128 openings.
That's what they thought they had in the bag.
A member of his party.
They thought they had, Hillary.
Philosophy. I'd say if you left us 128 openings, you can't be a good president. You can't be a good vice president. But I want to thank you because it gives us it'll probably be above that number by the end of this term. 300 judges. It's a record.
Nice.
Looking at both your records, why should voters elect you president as opposed to President Trump? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Exactly, Mr. Dead in his pocket. Ask him, Mr. Biden, will you condemn Antifa?
Poorer, more divided, and more violent. When I was vice president, we inherited a recession. I was asked to fix it. I did. We left him.
She didn't fix crap.
They also inherited the best racial
the fact is that I've gone
integration I've seen in my entire life.
Yeah, and they ruined that in the gutter.
Right?
Still refuses.
Yeah.
Obama ruined that.
Putin about
He made it all about race
American soldiers
and class
Class
warfare.
And by the way,
Mr.
my
President,
son.
wait a minute. Mr. President, your campaign agreed to both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it. And why don't you observe what your campaign agreed to?
That's my side. That's not really me. I didn't agree to that.
No, I'm not asking. That was a rhetorical question. Go ahead, sir.
That was a rhetorical question in a debate.
Well, then why'd you waste time asking it?
Billionaires have got much more wealthy by a tune of over $300 to $400 billion more just since COVID. You in the home, you got less. You're in more trouble than you were before. In terms of being more violent, when we were in office, there were 15% less violence in America than there is today. He, the United States, it's on his watch. And with regard to
left-wing
more divided,
radicals rampaging.
We can't be this way. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about the military, the way you talk about them being losers and being and just
I was talking about your son.
My son was in Iraq. He spent a year there.
Snorting coke.
He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was
Oh, it's a different son.
He was a patriot And the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I
Are you
resent
talking
like
about
hell.
Hunter? Are you talking
I'm
about Hunter?
talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're
I
talking
don't know.
about
I don't
Halo.
know, Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah, you
Hunter
know,
got
Bo.
thrown. Hunter got thrown out of the military.
I'm not talking about that, loser.
For cocaine use, and he didn't have a
Maybe.
job. Became vice president. And once you
None of
became
that
vice
is
president,
That's the loser
he
I'm talking about.
in Ukraine,
It's like his
in
dad.
Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
He
My
made a
son-
fortune,
My son,
and he didn't have a job.
my son, like a
My
lot of people,
son.
like a lot of people
My
know at home,
son.
had a drug
Some
problem.
video.
He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
But why
I'm
was he
proud of
given
my
tens
son.
of millions
All
of
right.
But
dollars?
he wasn't given
All right.
tens of
He
millions
was
of dollars.
given
That
tens
is
of
totally,
millions of
that's
President
dollars.
totally
President Trump,
discredited.
you've already been
Totally discredited.
Use it on a
We've
throne of
already been
lies.
through this. I think the American people would like to hear about more substantial
So do I.
subjects. Well, you know, as the moderator, sir, I'm going to make
I know,
a
but when
judgment call
somebody
here.
gets $3.5 million
Okay, right.
from the
Let's talk
mayor
about-
of Moscow,
let's talk
That is
about-
I
not
think it's a
true.
Gentlemen,
That
terrible thing.
report is totally
Why did he get
discredited.
it?
I
Mitt
think,
Romney on that committee said
That's
it.
completely true.
Money that report is written for political reasons.
you know, I'd like to talk about climate change.
So would I.
Okay. The forest fires in the West are raging now. They have burned millions of acres. They have displaced hundreds of thousands of people. When state officials there blame the fires on climate change, Mr. President, you said, I don't think the science knows. Over your 4 years, you have pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accord. You have
Damn
rolled back
straight.
a number of Obama environmental records.
That's why we love
Do
him.
you believe about the science of climate change? And what will you do in the
The
next 4
science of
years
climate
to
change.
confront it?
I want crystal clean water and air. I want beautiful, clean air. We have now the lowest carbon. If you look at our numbers right now, we are doing phenomenally. But I haven't destroyed our businesses. Our businesses aren't put out of commission. If you look at the Paris Accord, it was a disaster from our standpoint. And people are actually very happy about what's going on because our businesses are doing well. As far as the fires are concerned, you need forest management in addition to everything else. The forest floors are loaded up with trees, dead trees that are years old, and they're like tinder,
Yeah.
and leaves and everything else. You drop a cigarette and the whole forest burns down. You've got to have forest.
You drop
management.
Antifa in there, the whole countryside burns
Of climate
Yeah.
change.
I believe that we have to do everything we can to have immaculate air, immaculate water, and do whatever else we can that's good. You know, we're planting 1 billion trees, the Billion Tree Project, and it's very
Do you
exciting.
believe
for a lot of people.
that human pollution, greenhouse gas emissions contributes to the global warming of
I
this
think
planet?
a lot of things do, but I think to an
Always
extent,
does, huh?
to an extent, yes. But I also think we have to do better management of our forests.
Yeah, just like peeing in the ocean causes it to go bad.
California
Right.
is burning. California is burning. If that was cleaned, if you had forest management, good forest management, you wouldn't be getting those calls. You know, in Europe, they have forest cities. They're called forest cities. They maintain their forests. They manage their forests. I was with the head of a major country. It's a forest city. He said, sir, we have trees that are far more, they ignite much easier than California. There shouldn't be that problem.
Yeah, they worship Gaia.
I'm getting along very well with the governor. But I said, you know, at some
Yep.
point, you can't every year have
Our
hundreds of
jackass
thousands
governor.
of acres of land just burned to the ground.
Yeah.
That's burning down because of
He was
a lack
smiling like the Joker when he was
In the
standing in
science
front of those
of
burnt
climate change.
out woods.
Why have you rolled back the Obama Clean Power Plan, which limited carbon emissions in power plants? Why have you relaxed?
because it was driving energy prices through the sky.
Why have you relaxed fuel
He's
economy?
answering the
standards
question,
that
Chris.
are gonna
Let him
create
answer the
more
question
pollution
you're
from
asking.
cars
Well,
and
not
trucks?
really, because what's happening
Yeah.
is the car is much less expensive and it's a much safer car. And you're talking about a tiny difference. And then what would happen because of the cost of the car, you would have at least double and triple the number of cars purchased. We have the old slugs out there that are 10, 12 years old. If you did that, the car would be safer. It would be much cheaper by
But in the case of
$3,500.
California, they've simply
No, but you
ignored
would
your-
take a lot
your
of cars
rollback.
off the market because people would be able to afford a car. Now, so, and by the way, we're going to see how that turns out. But a lot of people agree with me, many people. The car has gotten so expensive because they have computers all over the place
Yep.
for an extra little bit
Okay.
of gasoline. And I'm okay with electric cars too. I think I'm all for electric cars. I've given big incentives for electric cars.
No, he's not
But
going to
what
answer
they've
nothing
done
about
in
Antifa,
California
dude.
is just
All right.
crazy.
No.
President Biden, I'd like you to respond to the president's climate change record, but I also want to ask you about a concern. You proposed $2 trillion in green jobs. You talked about new limits, not abolishing, but new limits on fracking, ending the use of fossil fuels to generate electricity by 2035, and zero net emission of greenhouse gas by 2050. The president says a lot of these things would tank the economy and cost millions of jobs.
He's
Duh.
absolutely wrong, number one. Number two, if in fact, during our administration, the Recovery Act, I was in charge, able to bring down the cost of renewable energy to cheaper than or as cheap as coal and gas and oil. Nobody's going to build another coal-fired plant in America. No one's going to build another oil-fired plant in America. They're going to move to renewable energy, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that we are able to take the federal fleet and turn it into a fleet that's run on their electric vehicles. Making sure that we can do that, we're going to put 500,000 charging stations and all of the highways that we're going to be building in the future. We're going to build a economy.
future.
They're going to need more coal plants to run all those electric stations.
And make sure that they, in fact, are.
Look at him smiling. He's like, this is going to be like back to the future.
They'll emit significantly less gas and oil because the heat will not be going out. There's so many things that we can do now to create thousands and
Like the
thousands.
wind machine.
We can get
wind,
to net zero in terms of
wind
energy
farms.
production by 2035. Not only not costing people jobs, creating millions of good paying jobs, not $15 an hour, but prevailing wage, by having a new infrastructure that in fact is green. And the first thing I will do, I will rejoin the Paris Accord. I will join the Paris Accord because with us out of it, look what's happening. It's all falling apart. And talk about someone who has no relationship with foreign policy. Brazil, the rainforests of Brazil are being torn down, are being ripped down. More.
Who gives a crap? It's not our
that rainforest,
responsibility.
every bit of carbon that's emitted in the United States. Instead of doing something about that, I would be
Not our
gathering
country,
up
Jack.
That's not our country.
countries of the world coming up with $20 billion and say, here's $20
He's a
billion.
globalist.
Stop tearing down.
You
the
go. You
forest.
want to
And
pay
if you don't,
Brazil
they're gonna have
not
significant
to take down
economic
trees.
consequences.
What about the argument?
What?
Yeah, this guy's an idiot.
Here's $20 billion.
Environmental interests and economic interests, and he's drawn his line.
Well, he hadn't drawn a line. He still, for example, he wants to make sure that methane's not a problem. You can now emit more methane without it being a problem. Methane. This is a guy who said
cow farts.
you don't have to
Yeah,
have
what's the
mileage
problem?
standards for automobiles that exist now. This is a guy who says that, well, the fact that it's all true. And here's
He's
the
talking
deal.
about the Green
So you can
New
even
Deal.
give.
2 billion or
I'm
20
taught-
billion. You said it's $100 trillion.
I'm talking about
where they
the
want to rip
Biden
down
plan.
Go for a
buildings
minute, and then you can go.
and rebuild the building.
No,
It's the
that is
dumbest,
not-
most
that
ridiculous.
is not-
Where airplanes are out of
That's
business,
a-
where two-car systems are out, where they
Not
want
true.
to take out the cows too.
Not
That's not
true.
true either, right? This is a $100
Wait,
trillion.
look.
That's more money than
That
our
is-
country could make in
that is
100
simply
years if we're going.
not the case.
All right, let me.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Wait
We're
a
going
minute,
to change our
sir.
entire energy system.
Studied your plan, and it includes upgrading 4 million buildings, weatherizing 2 million homes over 4 years, building
Homes?
1.5
2
million
million
energy
homes?
efficient homes. So the question becomes, the president is saying, I think some people who support the president would say that sounds like it's going to cost a lot of money and hurt the economy.
What it's going to do is going to create thousands and millions of jobs, good paying
Oh,
jobs.
my
Let him
gosh.
finish, sir.
He doesn't know how to do that.
$100
They-
billion.
The fact is, it's going to create millions of good paying jobs, and these tax incentives for people to weatherize, which he wants to get rid of. It's going to make the economy much safer. Look how much we're paying now to deal with the hurricanes. By the way, he has an answer for hurricanes. He said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon on them. They may.
I never said that.
That's
at all.
what he did say.
You made it up.
And
You make up.
we're going to be in a position where we can create hard, good jobs by making sure the environment is clean and we all are in better shape. We spend billions of dollars now on floods, hurricanes, rising seas. we're in real trouble. Look what's happened just in the
Rising
with these
seas.
storms that come through and wipe out entire.
He's been hanging out with Ocasio.
Have I missed
They didn't
something?
happen before. They're being
Ocasio's been telling bedtime stories. He's getting
We
scared.
make up 15% of the world's problem. We, in fact, but the rest of the world, we've got to get them to come along. That's why we have to get back into the
Back into what?
court.
All right, gentlemen,
Wait a
we
minute,
The
Chris.
what?
Why didn't he do it for 47 years? You were vice president. Why didn't you get the world? China sends up real dirt into the air. Russia does, India does, they all do. We're supposed to be good. And by the way, he made a couple of statements. The Green New Deal is $100 trillion.
That is not
20
my
billion.
plan.
That's
The Green
well, you
New
want to
Deal
rebuild every
is not
building.
my plan.
You want to rebuild
right.
every
Yes, it is.
If he
Gentlemen,
knew
he
anything
made
They're
it.
about
handing it to you,
Jerry, he said I said
forcing you to do it.
Jerry, he and his friends made it up, and then they went with it. I never said it.
Okay.
that is
What
not
he
true.
did
Sir,
is he
you're done in
said
this segment.
he called the military
Mr. Vice President,
stupid bastards.
I
And he
did
said
not
it on
say that.
tape.
I did
He
not say
said
that. It's on tape.
stupid
That's
Stupid.
bastards. He
Not
said
true.
it.
Stop.
I would never
I
say
would
that.
play it.
Stop.
Play it.
Go ahead. Mr.
Play
Vice
it.
President
Play it. Somebody play it.
answered his final question.
The final question is, I can't remember which of all his rantings. was the
I'm having a
final
little
question.
trouble. I'm having a little trouble myself, but and about the
Jeez,
economy
Chris.
and about
Jeez, yeah. This guy's a freaking like,
The economy.
he's a
the
shill.
Green New Deal and the idea of what
Seriously.
your environmental
New
changes
Deal.
will do.
The Green New Deal will pay for itself as we move forward. You're not going to
I
build.
thought you just said
plans
that's
that,
not
in
his
fact,
plan.
are great
Now he's
polluting
defending
plans.
it.
You're going to build.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
You support
No, I don't support the Green New
Oh,
Deal.
Then why are you defending
Why
it?
are you defending it?
I support the
Just
Biden.
asked the radical left.
I support
Oh, you
the
don't?
Biden plan that I put forward.
Okay.
It's the
Biden
Green
plan,
New
which
Which
Biden
is called
plan.
What
the
he-
Red New Deal. It's like, what?
All right,
They just
gentlemen,
named it.
final segment, election integrity. As we meet tonight, millions of Americans are receiving mail-in ballots or going to vote early. How confident should we be that this will be a fair election? And what are you prepared to do over the next 5+ weeks? Because it'll not only be to election day, but also counting some ballots, mail-in ballots after election day. What are you prepared to do to reassure the American people that the next president will be the legitimate winner of this election? In this final segment, Mr. Vice President, you go first.
Prepared to let people vote. They should go to iwillvote.com, decide how they're going to vote, when they're going to vote, and what means by which they're going to vote. His own Homeland Security Director and as well as the FBI Director says there is no evidence at all that mail-in ballots are a source of being manipulated. The fact is that there are going to be millions of people because of COVID that are going to be voting by mail-in ballots, like he does, by the way. He sits behind the Resolute desk and sends his ballot to Florida, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that those people who want to vote in person are able to vote because enough poll watchers are there to make sure they can socially distance. The polls are open on time, and the polls stay open until the votes are counted. And this is all about trying to dissuade people from voting because he's trying to
No, he's
scare
not.
people into thinking that it's not going to be legitimate. Show up and vote. You will determine the outcome
Yeah,
of this.
show
election.
up and vote. That's the point.
Vote, vote.
Show up.
If you're able to vote
Yeah.
early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you.
Vote how many times you want.
He cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election. And in terms of whether or not, when the votes are counted and they're all counted, that will be accepted. If I win, that will be accepted. If I lose, that'll be accepted. But
Yeah.
if in fact he says he's not sure what he's going to accept, well, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter because if we get the votes, it's going to be all over. He's going to go. He can't stay in power.
Yeah.
Won't
Are you
happen.
going to accept it? We'll see.
So vote. Just make sure you understand you have it in your control to determine what this country is going to look like the next 4 years. Is it going to change? Or you get 4 more years of these lies.
4 more
President,
years.
2 minutes.
4 more years.
To Joe talking about a transition. There's been no transition from when I won. I won that election. And if you look at crooked Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people, there was no transition because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my campaign. They started
Yep.
from the day I won and even before I won, from the day I came down the escalator with our first lady. They were a disaster. They were a disgrace to our country. And we've caught them. We've caught them all. We've got it all on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against General Flynn. You better take a look at that because we caught you in a sense. And President Obama was sitting in the office. He knew about it too. So don't tell me about a free transition. As far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot, okay? Solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country. There's fraud. They found them in creeks. They found some with the name Trump, just happened to have the name Trump just the other day in a waste paper basket. They're being sent all over the place. They sent 2 in a Democrat area. They sent out 1,000 ballots. Everybody got 2 ballots. This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen. The other thing, it's nice on November 3rd, you're watching and you see who won the election. And I think we're going to do well because people are really happy with the job we've done.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, we won't know. We might not know for months because these ballots are going to be all over. Take a look at what happened in Manhattan. Take a look at what happened in New Jersey. Take a look at what happened in Virginia and other places. They're not losing 2%, 1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be won or lost with that. They're losing 30 and 40%. It's a fraud and it's a shame. And can you imagine where they say you have to have your ballot in by November 10th? November 10th. That means that's 7 days after the election, in theory, should have been announced.
Okay.
We have major states with that,
Sir,
all run by
2 minutes
Democrats.
is 2 minutes.
All
You're-
run by
you're-
Democrats. It's
President
a fraud.
Trump,
It's a rigged election.
you're going to be able to continue. You have been charging for months that mail-in balloting is going to be a disaster. You say it's rigged, that it's going to lead to fraud. In 2018, in the last midterm election, 31 million people voted mail-in voting. That was a quarter, more than
That was absentee voting,
that
wasn't it?
year, asked their ballots
I
by
think so.
mail.
If
Now,
that's different than mail-in.
mail-in
Yeah.
ballots have gone out. What are you going to do about it? And are you counting on the Supreme Court, including a Justice Barrett, to settle any dispute?
Yeah, I think I'm counting on them to look at the ballots, definitely. I don't think I hope we don't need them in terms of the election itself. But for the ballots, I think so. Because what's happening is incredible. I read today where at least 1% of the ballots for 2016 were invalidated. They take them. We don't like them. We don't like them.
But what are
They
you
throw
going to
them
do
out
about it?
left
There
and
are
right.
millions of ballots going out
What
right
you
now.
do
What are
is you
gonna
go
do?
and vote. You do a solicited ballot,
No,
and
no,
that's
I
okay.
know
Or
your
you go and
complaint. I'm
vote.
asking you about the fact that millions of people
You go
have
and
received-
vote. You go and
No,
vote
but
like
what I'm
they
saying is, what are
like
you
they
gonna do
used
about
to
the
in
fact
the
that
old.
millions of people?
You either do, Chris, a
Yeah, just
solicited
talk
ballot,
over Chris,
you're
man. You don't
sending
have
it
to
in,
answer
you're
that.
sending it back, and
Wow.
you're sending. They have
That
mailmen.
soy latte drinking.
You see what's going on? Take a look at West Virginia. Mailmen selling the ballots. They're being sold. They're being dumped in rivers. This is a horrible thing for our country.
There is no.
This is not.
There is no.
This is
evidence
not
of
going to
that.
end well.
There is
Okay.
no
This
evidence
is
of that.
not going
Vice
to
President
end well.
Biden-
5 states
fact,
have had
go ahead,
mail-in
Seth.
ballots for the last decade or more. 5.
Absentee ballots, I mean,
And you
where they're
know,
more secure.
ballot, it's sent to you. It's sent to your home. What we're saying is, they're saying is that it has to be a postmark by the time, by election day. If it doesn't get in till the 7th, 8th, 9th, it still should be counted. He's just afraid of counting the votes because he
You're
knows what the
wrong.
outcome
You're
is.
wrong. I
No,
love
I want
counting
to
the votes.
continue with you on
I
this,
love
Vice
counting the
President
vote.
Biden.
Chris,
because
he's so wrong when he makes
in
a
fact,
statement
no,
like that.
excuse me, Vice President Biden, the biggest
Always disrespect
over the
Chris.
years, mail-in voting has not been fraud historically.
Talk over that,
It's
Clem.
been that sizable numbers, sometimes hundreds of thousands of ballots are thrown out because they have not been properly filled out, or there is some other irregularity, or they missed the deadline. So the question I have is, are you concerned that the Supreme Court with a Justice Barrett will settle any dispute?
I'm concerned that any court would settle this because here's the deal. When you file
Here's the deal.
a ballot,
All right, there's the deal.
you're supposed to have an affidavit. If you didn't know, you have someone say that this is me. You should be able to, if in fact you can verify that's you when before the ballot is thrown out, that's sufficient to be able to count the ballot because someone made a mistake and not dotting the correct I. Who they voted for, testify, say who they voted for, say it's you. That is totally legitimate.
All right.
What?
Jay Marone. How they found ballots in the trash in Pennsylvania.
Senate and swamping the system. You know it can't be done. You know it can't. And already
All
there's
right.
been
So now,
fraud.
Mail service
deception.
delivers
wait a minute, gentlemen. In the
185
final
million
question
pieces of
is,
mail a
80
day.
in
million
8
ballots.
states, we can keep talking.
It's
In
a-
8
it's a
states,
disgrace.
election workers are prohibited currently by law, 8 states, from even beginning to process ballots, even take them out of the envelopes and
Yes.
flatten them.
Oh,
until
that'll stop them.
that means that it's likely
They're prohibited.
huge increase in mail-in balloting that we are not going to know on election night who the winner is, that it could be days, it could be weeks.
It's got to be such a
It's gotta-
margin that the ballots don't
the
matter.
new president is. So first for you, sir, finally for the vice president, I hope neither of you will interrupt the other. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm during this extended period, not to engage
Yeah, like they're staying home right now.
and will you pledge
Burning
tonight
cities.
you will not declare victory
Right.
until the election has been independently certified? President Trump, you
I'm
go first.
urging my supporters to go into the polls and watch very carefully because that's what has to happen. I am urging them to do it. As you know, today there was a big problem. In Philadelphia, they went in to watch. They're called poll watchers, a very safe, very nice thing. They were thrown out. They weren't allowed to watch. You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Yep.
Things.
Yeah.
I am urging my people. I hope it's going to be a fair election. If it's a fair
You're urging
election,
them what?
I am 100% on board.
Shut up, Wallace.
See tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated. I can't go along with that. And I'll tell
what-
you
what
what,
does that
from
mean,
a
not go
common
along?
sense,
Does that mean
I'll
you're gonna
tell you
tell
what
your
it means.
people
Shut up, Wallace.
You have a fraudulent election. You're
And what are
sending
you
out
gonna do?
80
And
million
what would you
ballots.
do about that?
They're not equipped to. These people aren't equipped to handle it. Number one. Number two,
Okay.
they cheat. They cheat. Hey, they found ballots in a waste paper basket 3 days ago, and they all had the name
All right.
military ballots. They were military. They all had the name Trump on them.
Vice President
think
Biden,
that's good?
Vice President Biden, final question for you.
Yeah, he
Will
ignores that one, Wallace.
supporters to stay calm while the vote is
Bootlicking.
counted, and will you pledge not to declare victory until the
Ugh.
election is independently certified?
Yes. Here's the deal. They count the ballots, as you pointed out.
Tell us the deal again.
They
What's the deal?
wait
Yeah. What's the deal?
election day. And if there's thousands of ballots, going to take time to do it. And by the way, our military, they've been voting.
Those
by
dumb
ballot
bastards, you mean?
since the end of the
Yeah,
century.
exactly. Clap you.
And that's what's going to happen. Why was it not? Why is it for them somehow not fraudulent? It's the same process. It's honest. No one has established at all that there is fraud related to mail-in ballot. That somehow it's a fraudulent process.
It's already been established.
Take
Take a look at Carolyn Maloney's race.
I
in
asked
Manhattan.
you had an opportunity
Look
to
at
respond.
Carolyn Monroe.
Go ahead.
They have no idea what
Vice
happened.
President Biden, go ahead.
He has no idea what he's talking about. Here's the deal. The fact is, I will accept it, and he will too. You know why? Because once
Here's the deal.
winners, all the ballots are counted, all the votes are counted. That'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of it. And if it's me, in
It's
fact,
like
fine.
you
If it's
didn't live through
not me,
2000.
I'll support the outcome, and I'll be a president not just for the
Yeah.
Democrats. I'll be a president for Democrats and Republicans. And this guy,
I want to
in
see an
fact,
honest
Yeah,
ballot.
sure.
You say that's the end of it?
Chris,
This is
I
the end
wanna
of
see
this
an
debate?
honest ballot count.
We're
And I
going to
think
leave
he
it
does
there.
too.
To be continued as in more debates as we go on. President
Not
Trump,
a chance, dude.
Vice
As long
President
as you're not there.
an hour and a half. I want to thank you both for participating in the first of 3 debates that you have agreed to engage in. We want to thank Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic.
What's
for
the
hosting
over-under on
event.
this
The
being
next
the
debate,
last
sponsored
debate?
by the Commission on Presidential Debates, will be one
Yeah,
week
I don't know. I would like to see more. I want to see him start kicking the crap out of more.
presidential nominees. Vice President
Man, I just
Kamala Harris will
Chris
debate
Wallace, man.
now. Watch. Until then, thank you and good night.
I want to slap the glasses off that frog.
That's a little worrisome.
Thank you.
The Kamala Harris Mike Pence debate is a little worrisome because he's too nice and she's full of crap. Right? She's a liar and she will just say whatever she has to, and if he's too nice to like fact checker like Trump did, then that kind of lying, if nobody's fact checking at the time, it comes off as a win.
Yeah, they're gonna do fact checking next, right? Is that what they're doing right now? probably.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, they will. Or maybe they won't because they would get too many on Biden.
Look, his wife came up with the mask. Look, everybody on his side came up with masks.
Yeah.
Nobody on Trump's side had masks.
Bunch of tools.
Trump.
God, those people wearing masks make me sick.
Timotei paying attention to Melania. All right, that's it. That's it for that.
That was only an hour and a half. This seemed long. It seemed shorter to me.
It
I
did
don't know
seem
why.
short. It was because it was.
I
fun.
wanted to. It was too much Wallace talking. I don't want to hear that guy
Yeah.
talk.
CNN, Joe Biden wins the debate. Fox News, Trump wins the debate. Jay Hamilton, at least Trump gets to go home with Melania.
Yeah.
Cancel. All right.
Gosh.
Well,
Oh.
that's that. After
just-
debate, thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen?
I feel like beating up a punching bag after watching that. You know what I mean? Oh, man, that Wallace just ticks me off, man. Like I hate right when someone mentioned on the chat, it says right when he's making, it might have been Kung Fu Kitties, right when he's making a point, like a really good point, Chris Wallace is like jumps in right off because they don't want anybody hearing that point.
Yeah.
And they do that on I noticed new quote unquote news, the talking heads on those channels, they always do that. Right when you're getting to a good point, they're like, like they don't have nothing to say, but they start making noises. I want to get to another question. They cut you off, right? And that's what he was doing, that employing one of those tricks. I hate that. I always notice it.
Yeah.
It ticks me off. Oh man, it irks me really.
That's Chris Wallace for you.
But you know what I liked about Breitbart is when Breitbart was in that situation, I noticed if you watched one interview, he just keeps repeating it over and over and over. The last thing he hits his point because they kept interrupting him. He kept saying da 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 da, and they kept trying to talk over him, and he just kept repeating it da 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 da. Kept going, and finally he's like, it's stuck in your head what he said, and I'm like, they finally shut up because like, okay, you know, yeah, it's.
Eric,
it's ridiculous because Wallace would cut off Trump. Right, and then Biden would cut in later on, and then it's like Wallace is like, okay, go ahead, Biden, and like they would never go back to Trump and never let Trump finish. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's just so one-sided. It's ridiculous.
That's why Trump would start talking over Chris, and he's like, I'm
I
right.
think that was part of Trump's tactic, was to just get in there and just completely discombobulate Joe with
Yeah. That's just the fighting. Yeah.
All Joe was going to do is stick to his notes and stick to his pre-recorded thoughts, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Biden was looking down the whole time at his notes.
He had a pen in his hand the whole time, like he was.
Yeah, I just thought that one time was funny. It was like, you know, he's like first and second, and it's like Trump interrupted, and he started back on his script first and then second. It's like, yeah, we know you have a script, we get it.
Bye, DJ. DJ's leaving.
See you,
DJ. See you soon.
I remember Al Gore sighing loudly every time Bush 42 started to make a point. I remember that too.
Oh dear.
The Rosie with the wannabe Ronald Reagan makeup on.
Oh my. Here we go again. Oh man, I'm so glad, man. Al Gore. Man, these people irk me so much. It's like there's certain people that can irk me on TV, like Wallace. Chris Wallace is one of them, and then you got what's his name on the 5, Juan Williams. Oh, that guy, man, I gotta have a punching bag next to the TV and go.
I like Juan Williams.
Juan Williams.
I disagree with him on everything, but the fact that he's willing to go on that show, anybody that's willing to go on that show and sit 4-1, I have some respect for.
I know I can't. I hate his guts, but I can't say I hate his guts because God wants us to love. So, but if I would go against that, I despise that guy more than I despise anybody in existence. Like, because it's like the reason is the reason. He just blatantly lies.
Yeah.
And then when you call him on, he goes, like, hey, Ron Williams. And I'm like, gosh. Oh man, I'm telling you. But I guess, you know.
Yeah, he knows something's wrong, but he's there to toe the party line, you know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He doesn't deviate from that. no matter what. Even if he's caught on something, he just goes on to he plays it off and goes on to the next thing. But oh, did you see that one? I watched the 5 where that one, what's that girl who took Juan's place sometimes? She has glasses. She's a lefty too, like a diehard, but she like said something to like condescending to Jesse, and then she like they panned over to like Greg, and Greg just like sitting there like just staring at her, and then when it was his turn, he just totally like dressed her down, man. Like I was like, whoa, he just gave her a shellacking, and everyone else was like, what? And then Jesse, he just smiling, sitting there smiling, and he just was like going after her. She was ticked, man. Oh, that was great. But yeah.
Jay says Gutfeld is the best part of that show. I love Greg Gutfeld, man. I wish Red Eye was still a thing.
I used to watch the Red Eye, and then for a while I was kind of I was upset with Gutfeld, but now lately he's been like on fire. Like he's been like Jesse. I don't know if Jesse Waters has been getting him stirred up, but he's been like taking it to the hoop on like Juan and different people. He's been going after, and I'm like, just it's fun watching him.
Why were you upset with Greg? You want to see what I'm making of? You'll never believe it. Here,
What?
see. Can you tell?
Oh, that's awesome.
Who is that?
Trying to. You mean the likeness?
All right.
What tool I'm using?
That is awesome looking. No. What?
What tool?
I don't know. Is it a cool up tool?
Is it a G2?
What is it? Is it? Oh my gosh. But did you use it on the whole thing or just some of it?
So far I've done the whole thing.
Which one? The 5?
It's 0.38.
Oh, there's a 3.8. What the heck? I didn't even know there was a 3. Nice, man. Looks good. Dude, that looks really good. I couldn't tell. What do you like? How do you like it so far?
2, but the 7 doesn't do it. It's like, man,
Too
the
thick?
7's crap. It doesn't feed. The ink doesn't feed. I don't know what's wrong with
Yeah,
it.
it skips.
Yeah, I don't even use it.
So what do you
But my
think so far?
her house, and I'm like, hey, those are. I'm like, got any extras of these? So she gave me one of the new ones, and I'm like, I'm gonna try this out. And here I am, inking with the G2. That's right, Sky Marshall. That's Weldon's pen.
Where did you get yours?
My mom's house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I
man.
said. It's like my mom just had them at her house, and she's like, "Oh, they're nice, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, give me one of those."
Yeah, people are buying them up like crazy. They're always sold out when I go to stores.
Cameron says, that is insane. You drew that with a Pilot G2 pen. This is why I subbed.
That's good.
I drew the
See?
hair wrong. The G2 won't save me. I might. I don't really like the way the hair is coming out, so I'm probably going to ink the hair on the other 2 panels with the brush. But I mean, and I'm gonna do these smaller faces with the quill because this is a 0.38, so it's not that fine a line. I do dig it for some of this basic stuff though. I just like a finer line for my details.
Ooh.
So you only found a 5? That's the smallest one you found? Matt?
Sorry, I thought I put the mute off. Yeah, I only found a 5. I didn't even know there was a 3. But no. I was gonna say I caught the tail end. I think it was Eric was asking about Greg Gutfield, why I had a little problem with him.
Oh yeah.
It's because he was kind of like he was like straddling the fence, like he's like for a while. You know what I mean? He was just kind of like downplaying stuff, or he wouldn't, And then he just seemed like he was just being on the like a.
You mean for Trump?
Yeah. He was kind of like, well, whatever. He's kind of, but then like all of a sudden, I think he's been seeing what's going on, and all of a sudden he's like more like he got jumped on Juan a few times, like called him on stuff, and yeah, I used to like Juan at the beginning, like and then man, just for a while there, it was just like, hey, where'd Eric go?
I don't know. I think his phone died because He was
I was
just
answering for him.
and it disappeared.
No, you know who I don't like, and it might be a surprise to some people. I can say I don't hate him or anything, but I don't. Huh?
Kim Guilfoyle.
No, I like her. I don't like Tucker Carlson really.
What?
Yeah.
How can
I want
you
to
not
slap that guy right in the face.
He's from
It's 'cause
here.
he's just he is the thing is he says some good points, but he is like one of the most pompous people on TV, man. He is just yeah. I just don't get a sincere vibe from him at most times, but he'll say some good things. So I do watch him, but a lot of times just like, but he was also like very condescending about the president. Less so now because he sees what's going on. It's like more extreme. So he's kind of like, but at the beginning he was kind of like, well, he was basically implying like, oh yeah, I know Trump's a liar and adulterer and all that, and he's an immoral person. And I'm like, dude, that would just tick me off, you know. Hey, he's back.
He has his opinions.
Yeah.
Strong opinions.
My camera froze.
Did your phone die?
No, it was freezing up on me.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't know if you caught that. I just saying that at first I didn't. I had a problem with Greg because he was kind of on the fence too much. He wasn't like taking any definitive like side in a lot of the discussions, or he just make light of it. But then in like the past year or so, he's been like really going at it. He's like, you know, fighting for. I think now notice he's been getting leaner in his face. I think he was getting like lazy and kind of gaining weight, and all of a sudden now he's like working out for just in case Antifa knocks on his door. He's like, he used to be a fitness guy, right? He used to be in the Fitness Men's magazine, and
he was.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him. He was buff, man. He was like one of those. He wrote articles for Men's Health or something. Men's Fitness. Yeah.
Maybe I should try that.
For shame, Mast Cawson. What?
For
guy from Red Bank.
For shame.
Is that because of Tucker Carlson?
I don't
no,
agree
that
with Tucker on everything, but I think in general he's forthright. You know,
he says I agree with most of what he says. I'm just saying I don't like his attitude of how sometimes his style like same thing with Steven Crowder. I'm not a fan of his, but he does say really good things too. You know, like just because I think it's maybe because it's a taste thing, a cup of tea thing, like the joke style and everything, like comedy. So, but I still watch it from time to time, and I like his change my mind stuff. Yeah, I love watching those. That's some of my favorite. And but yeah, he was kind of a little bit on the fence about Trump too for a while there.
Yeah,
and,
a lot of those guys. I mean, Shapiro was, Crowder was, Tucker was, all the guys that I like the most.
Yeah.
You know,
what's that one other guy too?
Who was not? I
Gavin
think
McInnes.
Rush, and was Gavin?
Gavin McInnes was for Trump since day one. I remember he was making fun of Crowder because he's like, well, there's a reason I'm not really a big fan. He goes, it's because you're a P word. That's what he said. I was like, whoa. Oh man, that was like cracking up. But here, let's see.
I'm so tired from trolling Joe.
Joe? Which Joe?
Joe Biden.
Oh yeah, on this channel.
We're not trolling. We're rolling. Did you see what I was inking with, Eric?
I did see that.
Madness.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. Mike's going on the G2 train.
I know, man. Weldon is somehow are we going to see Eric whipping out G2s at some point?
Maybe to sketch with. I wouldn't, just to fool around with, but yeah, I wouldn't use it on a page yet.
We should do that, Mike. We should have a G2 drawn and quartered where we all have to use G2s. We should do that, like a special. Maybe we could do it in the 100th episode.
It's very special.
Like pick a topic. Summit. Yeah, G2 Summit. There you go, man. Everybody uses the G2. Of course, Matt's been using it longer, but look at Mike's already mastered it pretty much.
I'm not doing anything particular with it. I'm just inking the way I normally ink anything. So
See, we got to have the G2 like face off.
Yeah. We should have G2 drawn and quartered.
Arlene says Trump's crass, unpolished ways are annoying, but that just shows that he is not a smooth, lying politician. Well, I ain't gonna say he tells the truth about everything either.
Well, he can when it's like something like like what cracks me up is when he was having those McDonald's burgers for the sports team. And he's like, we had like a ton of hamburgers, and they're like, fact check, there was not a ton of hamburgers there. And I'm like, gosh, you know what I mean? It's like that's all like
300 pounds worth of hamburgers.
Yeah. You didn't have 2 tons of fries.
Yeah,
that was a lie. It's like, gosh, that's why they're like Trump lied like 1,800 times. Someone sent me a link, and I was like, yeah, he said that he liked the color blue, when he really didn't like blue, he liked purple or something stupid. I'm like, oh my gosh, like everything that was nitpicking that he lied, He said it was freezing outside and it wasn't.
I remember him saying something about nuking hurricanes.
That is awesome. Oh, that's awesome, man. See, I love that kind of thing, nuking hurricane.
Yeah, but on the debate, he's never said that. I'm like, yeah, you did. I remember.
That's why we love you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so freaking awesome.
When he said it, I was like, I wonder if that would work.
That is awesome. That's the thing is about Trump is like, Trump has no filter. He's horrible. I'm like, but then he's a liar. And I'm like, dude, he's telling you, he's not hiding anything. He's not trying to, he's telling you everything up front. And
he gets he gets an idea in his head and he's like,
yeah, no.
You got nuke hurricane. Would that do anything?
Yeah. Oh man, it's so funny. And then the whole thing about the cleaner,
the UV light, dude. When he said, yeah, you know that UV light kills all that stuff. Why don't we do that? And as soon as he said it, I'm like, I know someone is trying UV light therapy.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, and they are. I went to the website where they're doing it.
But they're like, you can't put UV light in a person. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you probably can.
Yeah, they put that like right down your esophagus, man, right down through to the tube, and they have the lights on it. I never even thought that was possible. I'm like, what?
I thought, it was just the same thing with the hurricane. I'm like, I wonder if that would work. It's like, because that's thinking outside the box kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you go like, would this sounds crazy. Would it work? Find somebody who's an expert and figure it out. No, that wouldn't work. All right, it's worth asking. But they're like, he's telling people to drink bleach.
Yeah, I know. People actually like, oh, dude, I said on my Facebook, if you actually believe that, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Right? And then nobody's saying anything. Because people were saying, he told people, I go, you really believe that for a second? It's like, come on.
The lady with the fish cleaner that murdered her husband.
Yeah. And there are Trump supporters. Yeah, there are Trump supporters who believed him. I'm like, dude, she hated Trump with a passion.
Yeah.
In fact, she hated her husband. That's why he's dead. Or almost died, right?
She just wanted to use Trump as an excuse to poison her husband.
Yeah. Did her husband... He didn't die, right? Or did he die?
Yeah.
Yeah, she murdered him. Yeah, because she was like arrested for trying to assault him before that. And
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I was doing research on her, and I'm like, I was posting it up all over the place for people, and I'm like, then she was being investigated, and I haven't followed up.
Oh, look at this. Elrod says G2s are Russian roulette. 1 out of 5 work.
Yes, sometimes. Dude, we got to do it, Mike. You know how much drama that would be during the draw if it was like people were having like, pen malfunctions. Like, no. And then it's like, sorry, you got to work it. What's it you got? That'd be fun. Even the digital artist would have to go G2.
Yeah.
See? That's the special 100th episode. The G2 Summit. But what's going to be the 100th episode? Do we know yet?
I don't know. We only have a week to figure it out. This is the 99th episode. 99 is Naruto.
Wow. We're going to have to... I think I might buy some Naruto to eat while we're doing it. I don't know. But yeah, you need to think of it. You got to start brainstorming, guys. What would be perfect? What's going on?
Brian Shearer will be here this week, probably.
Cool. Yeah, he hasn't been on in a while.
Yeah.
As long as we don't do Transformers on the 100th, we're good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take off, guys.
All right, brother.
Have a good night.
I'll see you, Eric.
All right, guys.
See you, man.
Thanks.
Later.
Hopefully.
Elrod says whiteboard D&Q.
Whiteboard.
Everyone to go buy Expo marker D&Q, Sharpie D&Q.
Sharpie D&Q. Yeah. I inked some of my comic I did for Boom Studio with Sharpie because, well, I used it mostly for fill-ins because I ran out of ink. And so I just ran to the Staples and grabbed like a bunch of Sharpies. And I was like scribbling them in.
I hope you didn't care about the original art.
I kept it, but we'll see.
Is it orange yet?
I don't know how many years it takes for that to change. It's been long enough, maybe.
Takes a minute.
It takes a minute. I do have some when I was a little kid, and they turned some turned purple and some turned green, like the outline.
Oh, yeah.
It was weird.
I guess it depends on the batch.
Yeah. But man, I'm telling you, I started getting into nunchucks. I don't know if you could tell.
Oh,
I've been taking lessons online.
Oh yeah?
Well, actually, I've been just watching YouTube. So there's this guy. He's got a video where he's got the Cobra Kai type gi on with this, but it's got an American collar, American flag collar, and then he's got like this wolf picture like snarling on the side, and he's like using it with rock music going, and there's like a mountain desert behind the landscape in the city, and the guy's good. He says he's been doing it since he's 5, and good night, Arlene Adkins Zell.
Good night, Arlene.
Good night.
We should do something related to 100 for the 100th episode. Type 100 into Google and see what happens.
I know what that is already. 100 is the Frank Miller, right?
No, that's 300.
Well, that's his prequel.
Yeah. Part 1.
Yeah, they had to build the ranks up. It was only 100. No, it was Xerxes was the prequel, right? Xerxes?
Artaxerxes, yeah. No, Artaxerxes was the first one. Oh, wait. I do remember something about like his history or some crap. No, I think you're right. Something like that. I don't remember. 100 Pokemon.
Cost is training for Mike's to be Mike's bodyguard.
I need nobody.
If Mike and I have to fight off local chapter of Antifa back to back with nunchucks.
I'm equipped with several weapons, so.
Yeah.
And some body bags. Trump was really throwing those haymakers. Yep. That was good. That was very entertaining.
Oh yeah, dude. But he was like, "What did you say?" He's like, "Shut up, you clown," or something like that. I was like, "What?" I was like, "That was crazy."
You say that to the president of the United States.
Yeah.
That's how little respect they have for the office.
Yeah, man. Yeah, seriously. Sharon Marlowe says she likes the old-fashioned spindles on the rope still. Yeah, they had the you're talking about the rope nunchucks, right? Like I saw those. I was looking at the website. I was going to order some rope ones, and they have so many different versions. They have octagon-shaped ones, round ones,
mm-hmm.
and these were given to me as a gift. So I kind of don't want to ruin these. I want to keep them nice, even though they're used in like beat up. Crazy. You got the octagon ones? I mean, look at that. Look how beat up these are. They've been used.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. How do you like those? Those are used up too, man. They got a little beat up. A lot beat up.
Oh, they hurt.
Did they used as the paddle? They said they use these to like as like a hammer to nail down spikes. Like one guy was saying,
Oh yeah.
Oops, I just broke.
Do you know what they're actually for?
That's what they said.
No, what nunchucks are originally for.
It's a farming tool, right? Is that what it is?
It's for threshing wheat.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. And you use like a hammer too. Damn.
Well, I assume you could probably use it.
Or you can even use it to hit people.
You need to.
No, these things right here are so hard, man. I mean,
yeah,
they're like crazy hard. It's like I think it's made like say like a police baton or something because it's just like this doesn't feel like wood.
I'm pretty sure it's oak.
Oak? Yeah, man. I'm like I mean, you hit yourself on the knuckle with this thing or on the shin. That does not feel good. But yeah, man.
R2D2 says my wife believes Trump's lies. My wife believes.
But about what?
Yeah.
Right? About what? Like 2 scoops?
2 scoops.
If it's something that it's like something that's inconsequential, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like saying, did you was that you in the answer machine answering your calls or answering your phone when you were starting off? He's like, no, it's not me. And it's like, no, it wasn't me. I'm like, was it him? You know, he's saying it's not, but it sounds kind of like him. But you're thinking, I don't know. But it's like, yeah, when people say Trump lies, I read through like the website. And it's like the most mundane things, you know. Meanwhile, like Hillary Clinton's like burning her laptops and smashing phones, you know, hiding them, emails, burning. And then he's like, he lied about how many hamburgers he ordered. Or yeah. This guy's been under such scrutiny.
Not that I'm a proponent of lying in under any circumstance, but
yeah,
there's a degree of importance to the things he's lying about.
Yeah, it's this thing. It's like I always ask people, what is he lying? Like, what's your beef? Because like whenever someone says, oh, he says so many racist things, and I'm like, well, what did he say? And like, well, there's like so many, and I'm like, well, just you don't have to name all, just name me one, and they can't. And I'm like, dude, if you believe something that strongly and you don't know one thing, how can you believe it so strongly? Like if they ask me, if I say something about Hillary or whatever, and they ask me, well, what should you do? I'd give you a list right out the hand, you know, of what I don't like. But yeah, I don't know. I think, like I said, people are always like, he's so mean. I'm like, mean to who though? Like to billionaires, to millionaires, celebrities, news people. Like I want to be mean to them too.
Just Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, only Rosie. Yeah.
Time to correct people again. The origin of the nunchucks is unknown. There are some myths and theories, but there's nothing concrete that points to their actual origin. Well, all of the weapons from at least Okinawan karate were farming tools.
Yeah. I think
staff to the bow staff to
like the three nunchuck, the 3 one. It's like yeah.
They were farming tools because they weren't allowed to have weapons.
Yeah.
And so they took the farming tools and they created a martial art using things that the government couldn't take away from them.
Kung Fu Kitty said, thank you, Matt. For which part is a thank you? I was wondering.
I don't know. I voted third party last time because Trump wasn't unknown to me and from a Democrat stronghold. He has earned my vote, and I will be pulling the lever for him in a few weeks. Woo!
Good news. See, I think there's a lot of people like that who were on the fence about him at the beginning.
Mike mistook the origin of nunchaku as the origin of kama.
Well, of course, those were used, obviously. But I heard, no, you're saying that they were used to beat the shaft, right? To kind of separate the
Yeah, let's see what the
wheat from the shaft type thing. The threshing, you just beat it.
Threshing, yeah.
It's, you know, it's not like you're trying to harvest with it. You're beating them. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's not threshing. That's harvesting. The kama, that's the sickle I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, see, look at the ball bearing on this thing. Like I said, I'll just keep bragging about it. Look at that. Still spinning. Look at that one spin. Just keeps going. Finally.
The nunchaku, also known as the nunchuck, is a traditional Japanese weapon originally developed in Okinawa. The nunchaku consists of two sticks linked together by a short chain or rope, blah, 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 blah. Asian culture. The word itself was derived from a short Southeast Asian agricultural tool used for threshing rice or soybeans.
Ah, see, there we go. Oh, Kung Fu Kitty. Okay, yeah.
The rest of that story. When Japanese warlords invaded Okinawa, they banned the use of conventional weapons. As a result, Okinawans learned kobudo and karate. Kobudo weaponry were farming tools that the farmers converted into things they could use to defend themselves.
Yeah, that's what ninjas did back in Japan. They used farming tools because they were farmers, using what they had at hand.
Yeah. They didn't have the Second Amendment in Okinawa.
I want to get some more nunchucks, man. Those rope ones look cool. Oh, it looks like RTD2 for Life says his wife is mad at him now for saying something. Hey, I know how that is, man. My mom would be on the phone with somebody and she'd be saying something about me, and I go, no. And then she'd be like, oh, now he's mad that I said something. I'm like, no, don't say that. Now he's mad that I've said something again. I'm like, quiet, just shut up. She explained what was going on. I'm like,
Andrew Hayes asks, what art instructor books would you recommend? Bridgman, Loomis, yes, and yes. I'd start with Bridgman. When you get to the point where you want to focus on faces, I would get Andrew Loomis faces. And well, if that's what you want to, if you want to just follow what I did, I prefer the way Loomis constructs faces to the way Bridgman constructs faces.
Yeah,
but
Loomis.
Bridgman's construction of the individual parts of the face, meaning, the nose, the lips, the eyes, the ears, the cheeks, the planes of the face, all that's vital information as well. But the basic structure of the face, I like Loomis better.
Yeah, Loomis is the books that I was getting for face. Even for anatomy, I was getting Loomis books, and anything I get my hands on. I went to the library, got tons of books from people I didn't even know. I was just buying whatever anatomy books that helped me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some things were like too complicated, so I was like, almost like a medical anatomy book.
Oh, like Gray's.
Yeah, it was just like, I mean, it was too advanced. I'm like, I got to just get basic structure. I want to get that down. And but then also I was buying bodybuilding magazines and like drawing those and learning about it. At the time I started exercising too, so I was learning about it. So it was a plus. I think exercising helped me think about the muscle groups because you're using them.
Right.
And so it helped me understand. Yeah, I still have my old bodybuilding magazines too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's like they have Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover, like, and then my favorite bodybuilder though from the back in the day was Steve Reeves, and he was like the classic look where he doesn't look like steroids or anything.
Right.
And he played Hercules in the old 50s movies, 1950s Hercules.
Yep.
And that was the guy that my dad was into, because my dad was into working out back in the day. Back. What's it says? Ninja history. Yes. I actually took ninjutsu and back in high school, and
what kind?
I was always into it. And my friend's dad was teaching it he went to the church I went to, and they go, and my mom was talking to a lady, and she goes, oh yeah, my husband teaches it. And my mom told me, and I was like, what? Like teaching ninjutsu? And then they go, yeah, they're actually downstairs practicing in the basement. And I was like, so I remember walking down there, and I was like trying to walk quiet like a ninja, because I'm thinking I'm about to walk up in all these ninjas, and then I get the training in the back room, and it's all dark hallway, and then I go in there and they're all like doing wrist locks, and like it's like a lot of circular motions. It's a lot of similarities to is it Kempo? Like with Steven Seagal, the circular motion Aikido, and then we did some sword stuff and bow staff. And
so this is Japanese jiu-jitsu, not Brazilian.
Yeah, it was Japanese. Yeah, it was all Japanese. So we did the whole, we did all that stuff. And yeah, it was fun, man. I did it for a while. I did so almost a brown belt, but it was like it was great because it wasn't about strength, speed, and all that physical prowess and everything. It was just, you know, it was about technique, and that's what I liked. And then I went to my girlfriend's dad showed me techniques that were just straight up for like he learned while he was a bodyguard security.
Mhm.
And it was just basically fighting techniques like you see in movies where it's just like the Bourne Identity, where just it's about creating havoc, chaos in the body and just neutralizing people. It wasn't about, you know, like ninjutsu is like obviously it had like assassination type aspects or silent stealth aspects. It wasn't all about just straight up like confrontation. And that was it was fun though because it was right up my alley. I was into ninja stuff, so. But it was like they gave us more of the history of it, how they were farmers, and then, of course, you know, it wasn't like the what's that Pat Duke, the guy from Kumite, the Bloodsport, or they said he was like a ninja, American ninja.
Oh, yeah. Who was that?
Frank Dukes, that's what it was. Frank Dukes, that's the
That's the
Jean-Claude
guy.
Van Damme played the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was supposed to be the American ninja, but it wasn't ninjutsu. He was like a mixture of martial arts. But my teacher learned from the only American student of the Japanese grandmaster, and I got to meet him. He was actually in some films. He did consultation work in films, and he did a TV show recently where they had like guys who were trained police security unit, and he had to sneak in and like assassinate or mock assassinate the guy they're protecting. And so like they had people going in, a security team trying to do SWAT standoff and everything, and they couldn't do it. And then he just went in and he acted like he worked for the show. And he's like, some of the lighting is like the camera's not picking up images. And so he worked his way in and got right up to the target by acting like he was a stagehand for the show. He was wearing a baseball hat, and then that was great. Because that's what he said ninjutsu is like. There's about deception, you know, about deceiving people. Like, you just look like you're an old man or a farmer or whatever. It was fun.
I am a bush.
Yeah. He turned into a log. Remember, was that the video games where they see a log?
Have you read The Tick?
Oh yeah. The samurai. I only remember the samurai, and we fought the ninjas.
No. It was there was a hedge of ninjas, but they were all ninjas standing there holding like a twig, saying, "I am a bush. I am a bush," and then there are a bunch of ninjas over there. They aren't. He's like, "Oh, that's ingenious." So Isaac, did you finish reading The Tick?
What time is it?
I don't know.
I'm thinking of making a run for some food.
Making a run for the border?
Kind of. I was thinking of El Pollo Loco.
Ah.
El Pollo.
All right. I can
But,
wrap this up. This was a political. Nobody's even watching me ink with the G2.
Yeah, the G2.
My new skills with the G2.
Nice, man. Yeah, you can't even tell. I can't tell. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
No,
I love the shadow on that face, that reflective light. It's a nice dimension. And that's for the secret project?
Yes, page 37. I think.
Ooh, 37. Man, I gotta get going on mine tonight. Get me a taco, Matt. Sharon Marlowe says.
Yeah, we're gonna launch on November 1st.
Ooh, wow.
Yep.
The crazy chicken.
We're getting there.
The crazy chicken. Hey, ninjutsu is real, the Racken.
I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out tonight. Let's see, how can I just remember?
Nobody can compete with God.
And then
that's right.
One more thing. Don't forget to the pinned tweet tonight. Don't forget to back maga7.com. That is my pro-Trump comic book at the printer right now. If you haven't backed it already, then what are you waiting for? I think I have 8 or 9 copies of the signed Dean Cain version left. But the time is nigh. The time is nigh. So, Matt, God bless.
God bless. I'll see you guys later.
Later, fam.
Because we're going to turn it around and we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.